Autism. As you guys know, here in Elizabeth and in the state of New Jersey, we have one of the highest rates of autism in the country. As you guys have seen, starting on April 2nd, we had blue lights throughout our district. So every school entrance had blue lights, as well as the administrative building. We all changed everything for the entrances, and for the very first time, the Elizabeth Board of Education is participating in Light It Up Blue. And in honor of autism, myself and my fellow board members are going to read some statistical facts about autism, and we wanted to kind of share. And I don't know if you guys have noticed, but every month there has been a theme. Starting from January, we celebrated Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday. In February, we celebrated President's Day, as well as Black History Month. In March, we celebrated Women's History Month by going to a school named after a woman. And now we are at a school who has many autistic children here. We wanted to celebrate autism here. And you know, this is just some statistical facts that you guys may already know, but we wanted to make sure that we showed it and also shared it. Fact number 1. Autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, is a developmental disability that is caused by differences in how the brain functions.
Fact number 2. Autism affects language development, social skills, and behavior.
Fact number 3. People with ASD typically have symptoms early in life and will usually have symptoms throughout their lives.
Jose.
Well, I have fact number 5.
It's okay.
Fact number 5, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's most recent national data, an average of 1 in 68 individuals have autism spectrum disorder. 1 in 68 national average is roughly 30% higher than the estimate for 2008, where it was 1 in 88 individuals. Boys were almost 5 times more likely to be identified with autism spectrum disorder than girls. The reason for this increase across the nation is not known.
Fact number 6. ASD occurs among all racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups. However, white children are still more likely to be identified with ASD than Black or Hispanic children.
Fact number 7. The newest New Jersey and Center for Disease Control and Autism and Developmental Disabilities Monitoring Network Autism Prevalence Estimates for school-aged children were reported on Friday, April 1st, 2016 in New Jersey to be 24.6 per 1,000, 1 in 41.
And for our last fact that we're sharing this evening, in the Elizabeth Public Schools, the prevalence of autism has been consistently increasing. Since 2010, the classification rate of children with autism has increased by 55%, as have our programs as well.
At this time, I would like to share a video with you that was produced by the Elizabeth Public Schools, highlighting our district participation in Light It Up Blue campaign. Thank you. much again to our technology department for putting that together. We really appreciate all that you do for our district. At this time, the microphones are open for public comment to those who have signed in prior to this session. I shall call individuals to the microphone based on the order of the sign-in. In each statement made by the participant shall be limited to 3 minutes in duration. The total time of public participation shall be limited to 60 minutes. No individual is able to yield their time to another individual. All statements shall be directed to the preceding officer. No participant may address or question any board member individually. The following rules for the public participation shall apply. Time limits will be strictly enforced. No personal attacks on individuals. No vulgar or indecent language. A person may address the board no more than once during a single meeting. Speakers must and should refrain from naming individuals. Comments or questions posed during public participation will not be debated. As a reminder, this is a meeting of the board and public, not a meeting of the public. At this time, my first speaker is going to be Jasmine Patrick. Okay. Give her a round of applause. This is one of our students in our district. Jasmine's accompanied. What's your name? Elizabeth? Elizabeth, thank you. Elizabeth. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. Elizabeth, yes. You have 3 minutes.
We're from School 13, Benjamin Franklin, and we are here to address the fact that we don't feel safe in our school with the principal. We don't feel that she has good leadership qualities, and she really didn't do anything for our school. Thank you. She really didn't do anything for our school as a whole, and we're here to speak on behalf of our school to help our school out. Elizabeth is the president of our school, and we all just feel unsafe in our school, and Elizabeth was personally attacked and threatened by the principal, and we feel that with the principal that was substituting for her while she was absent for the 4 weeks that he was there, a lot more got done, and he helped our school in a positive way, and we felt positive to come to school. We were all happy to come to school. There were better grades, less absences, less suspensions, and a lot more got approved for our 8th grade and for the rest of the school. Trips, graduation, proms, dances, everything was better. And then when she came back on Monday, we walked into school with this feeling that we were scared for some reason, and we didn't know why. And then we found out that she was there, and Elizabeth started shaking, and we all got scared, and we were just down for the rest of the day, and we still to this day are down that she's back, and we just don't feel safe at school anymore. That's all.
Thank you for coming and sharing your comments. Who's in charge of School 13? You? Okay, I'm gonna have Elizabeth and Jasmine. I'm gonna have you come and speak to the board member. So if you want to just come meet him over here, he's adopted your school, and I'm gonna have him take care of your matter. Okay? It takes a lot for students to come in here and speak before all of us, right? So we need to make sure that we encourage our students to have the courage to do that, because not everyone has the courage to come and do that and stand against what they believe is right. Right? I talked about that. You gotta stand with what you think is right. All right. At this time, I'm going to have Miss Betty Crawley come up and the technology, Mr. Alberto, can you put the timer on, please?
Good evening, Madam President, Superintendent Hugelmeyer, board members, and parents. I spoke at last month's board meeting concerning the closing of our school libraries and how this action will cripple the children of Elizabeth. Every student deserves a well-funded library, staffed by a certified librarian. School librarians, in addition to having a teacher's license, must have certification for the library. In a recent article in a local newspaper, Superintendent Olga Hugelmeyer said, and I quote, "We believe that every student, regardless of demography and economic status, can be inspired to achieve at higher levels." End of quote. To achieve at higher levels, our students must be able to read, research, and synthesize information from varied sources. This is especially true for laying a foundation for success in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We risk undercutting students' programs for success, and we sell them short if we blindly eliminate essential school library programs. How can you designate certain schools in Elizabeth as gifted and talented without a library and a full-time certified librarian in each school? Offering grades 3 through 8 technology is all well and good, but technology is just another tool. Without a professional library media specialist guiding our students to master information literacy skills, we are doing a huge disservice to our students in our community. Young children in grades K through 5 need to be exposed to all kinds of books, and I did bring a few wonderful books with me just for everyone to see. Books are wonderful treasures to be shared, discussed, and enjoyed. The library is a doorway to adventure, history, science, mystery, and so many other things. The library is a treasure chest. All we have to do is turn the key, lift the lid, and carry off its bounty. Andrew Carnegie's deep belief in the power of books and libraries to change the world still holds true for this 21st century. Dr. Deborah Wolf, a Union County native and one of the original Elementary and Secondary Education Act proponents, always said people need to fully understand and experience what they are deciding upon. Educators and board members would do well to keep Dr. Wolf's words in mind when making important decisions concerning the education of the children of Elizabeth. Thank you.
Azirdia, I'm sorry. Oh, there you go. Another student, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Annabelle Azurdia, and I'm a high school student at Elizabeth High School Upper Academy. I have been playing the violin for 10 years, and within those 10 years, I can genuinely say that the last 4 years has made me prosper musically and thrive for success. In addition, in being in the Elizabeth High School Orchestra, I am a part of the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra. Being a part of the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra is a contribution to my achievement of performing at Carnegie Hall. Never had I imagined to perform at Carnegie Hall. However, due to my hard work and my dedication to music, it was made possible. I want to give a special thanks to Mr. Narone for showing his support and taking his time to listen to the three of us, my sister and my other friend, at Carnegie Hall. As a senior, I would like to express how much the music department meant to me, not only in high school, but throughout elementary and middle school. Before I graduate, I want to be reassured that music will continue on and that there will be more support for the orchestras of Elizabeth, New Jersey. Therefore, in order to show me this support, I invite all members of the board to my last NJSO concert on May 14, 2016 at the NJ PAC, and my last school concert on May 25, 2016 at Upper Academy. This will show me that there will be continuous support to the orchestras of Elizabeth, New Jersey after I graduate. Thank you for listening and enjoying the rest of the
What time are the shows? Real quick, sorry. What time are the shows? On the 14th and 25th?
May 14th, I'm not sure yet, but on May 25th, Upper Academy is at 7 o'clock at night.
Do me a favor, can you see Melanie and give her that information so that we all get it? Thank you.
Hello, good evening everyone. My name is Angelina Azurdia. I am an attending student at Elizabeth High School, and I am a violinist in Elizabeth High School Orchestra and in the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra. Before anything, I'd like to say that I've been playing the violin since I was in second grade in school 22 at 31. Since then, I have been playing every single year, and when I was in the 6th grade, I decided to join the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra. So I auditioned and I got in. This year, I was fortunate enough to perform at one of the most amazing halls, which is Carnegie Hall in New York. I mean, for a 15-year-old girl, that is quite an honor and a privilege to perform at Carnegie Hall, where other great musical performers have also performed. As a student, one thing that I appreciated was the support that I received from my family, my friends, and my recent music teacher at Upper Academy, Ms. Shakora. I would like to give a special thanks to Mr. Nerone, who was one of the board members who did attend the concert at Carnegie Hall on May 6th. Never in a million years would I have guessed that I would have been a part of such an amazing experience. And the experience still continues because, as my sister already said, on Saturday, May 14th, there will be a spring concert at NJPAC. And as well, I would like to extend an invitation to you all and hope you can come and support me and other students from Elizabeth. To conclude, I just want to say that students in Elizabeth need to feel motivated and supported for what they do. Those students who are in a school orchestra, whether they are in elementary school or in middle school, should definitely continue playing when they get into high school, because it would be a tremendous benefit for them, and it will make the music program grow and excel, and it'll be well known to everyone. Each of these musically gifted students has hidden talents that are yet to be seen, and with the support from their teachers and other adults, they will be able to feel good about what they do every day. All in all, I just want to say that support is important for everybody, for all these students, because they will feel important and it'll shape them into a better person in the future. Thank you. Good evening.
Next, I have Sebastian Canham.
Good evening. Today, I would like to thank you all and extend all of you a special invitation, like my two other men. I am very thankful to have belonged here in Elizabeth District, and I would also like to thank a special person, our teacher, for a very long time, Dr. Angela, who has led us down this road and opened up many opportunities for us. I am so thankful, and I think it's a privilege that all three of us, we put our minds to playing the violin, and not just the violin, but any sort of musical instrument, and we were able to achieve greatness. And now we are in the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra, and like they said, we also were invited to play in Carnegie Hall, which was really exciting. And also next month, we will be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the NJSO, which will be held in NJPAC. I would also like to thank Commissioner Jose Rodriguez for joining us in one of the many past concerts, to Commissioner Stan Nerone for joining us at the concert at Carnegie Hall. Thank you very much. I would like to extend an invitation to all students and parents to the NJPAC concert on May 14th, and I actually have the information for you guys here. It starts at 12 p.m. And I also like to say something sort of off script. I believe that like these musical programs are very helpful for children. I believe that being a violinist and just participating in the musical world has really opened up many opportunities for me. It definitely teaches me a lot of life lessons, a lot of characteristics and sort of ways of living that will definitely help me in the future. And I would just like to tell all the parents that, you know, try and put your kids into music because it's really a very, very wonderful experience. And thank you for listening to me and have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, Sebastian, Angelina, and Annabelle for sharing your experiences with us. We appreciate it. At this time, I'm going to call Dr. Patricia Gallant.
Good evening, Madam President, Mrs. Jugelmeyer. 2 days ago was another banner day for Elizabeth High School. Elizabeth High School was ranked 183rd in the nation and 8th in New Jersey. I'm thrilled for the students, teachers, and numerous administrators who worked very hard to get this honor and make that happen. As much as I am thrilled for the students of EHS and Hamilton, which was ranked 33rd in the state, I'm saddened at the same time. Saddened for the approximately 2,800 other students, 350 teachers, and numerous administrators who do not attend high schools that have a 95% graduation rate. Saddened that these schools do not even rate enough to get a ranking. Saddened that over the last 3 years, the graduation rate at Dwyer was 64%. That means that 84 out of 140 students graduated in a given year. The graduation rate for Halsey over the last 3 years was 63%. That means 83 out of 132 students graduated in a given year. The graduation rate for Edison over the last 3 years was 72%. That means that 89 out of 124 students graduated in a given year. The graduation rate for Jefferson over the last 3 years was 63%. That means that 59 out of 94 students graduated. In total, 170 students do not graduate from our high schools in any given year. This is unacceptable. This cannot happen. Is this equity? I think not. It's time for the Elizabeth community to come together and change this. The time has come for us to look to the community for answers, to come together to see what we can do to increase the graduation rates. At the rate we're going, some schools may never see a 95% graduation rate. It's interesting that your new video stated the importance of how parents are involved in their children's education and how important it is to involve them. I ask that Ms. Bathlis and Mrs. Jugelmeyer please convene a blue ribbon panel of experts from the community and local colleges. Charge the committee with the task of surveying the community, the Elizabeth alumni, the students, the parents, teachers, and administrators, to see what's happening in our high school. And does what's happening in our high school meet the needs of the students, and furthermore, truly prepare them, not for just college, but for the work world? Then have that panel come up with solutions that are put out to the community, and have the community approve those.
Thank you very much for your comments. At this time, I'm going to call up Robert Townsend. Yes.
Good evening to each and everyone that is here. Let me say Shalom Alaikum to Islamic community and Assalamu Alaikum to us Islamic community, and Shalom Alaikum to our Jewish community, and also happy Passover. My question is this. I understand that at school number 2 was a 4-year-old girl being bullied. And her mother has said that she was also bitten. And I was told this on Tuesday night at a meeting. And I would like for this accusation to be investigated to see, you know, what's going on at school number 2. Thank you.
Is Mr. Vossler here? Oh, yes. Can you speak to Mr. Vossler, please, with the white shirt? Right there. Okay.
Thank you so much for my time.
What superintendent is in charge of school 2? Okay, thank you. I think this is the next person, Pia B. Cabral. Okay, Cabral. Do you need an interpreter?
Oh, no.
No? Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. I'm a little bit short. I'd like to thank you for everything. My daughter, Irene Arellano, is doing fantastic in the out-of-district school, May Academy, Jersey City. But before that, what I saw tonight is fantastic. Teachers should be recognized. Irene has been having the onset of schizophrenia before July 2015. She had it when she was in school number 4. She had it when she was in school 8. But this wonderful group of teachers, not only special needs, work with her, help her. We didn't know. We work with the selective mute area. We thought it was part of selective mute. There is so much to learn about special children, and I'm going to take your word about meeting with you on Monday, and so write my name. My daughter is doing fantastic. Thank you to all of you here, because thank you, Miss Olga, because the minute you knew she was in Trinitas, you sent her laptop, her computer, and Irene never gave in. She was working with heavy duty medicine, and you could see her waking up every morning with her hospital bag and working hard and achieving. And her question was, what is people going to think about me? I said, you're wonderful. So these children need support. The parents need support. I've been away from all of this because I've been in the hospital from 1 to 2 and then 7 to 8. A shower, breakfast, in hospital. Right now it's getting better. She's in a residential, she's doing fantastic. She's, you know, she said something on Sunday. She had the spring break at home. She did her community hours in St. Mary's Church. She has like 27 or 29 hours she's looking to do. I say, I'm gonna ask, I'm pretty sure you're gonna make it, you know, for her confirmation. She said, Mommy, if they make fun of me in the hospital, I'm gonna tell them that the Constitution back me up. I have the freedom to pray where I am. You know, it was so cute, I love it. She was well educated. When she arrived in May Academy, they knew she was a child from Elizabeth because she's working fantastic. I mean, she's not hearing voices anymore, she's not hiding, she's not seeing things anymore. The medicine finally is working on, so please do.
Thank you for your comments. I'm sorry, your time is come
So thank you.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
At this time, I'm going to have Ghazal Ather, please.
evening, everybody. My name is Kazal Azar, and I would first like to welcome the Syrian families, Neil and Elizabeth, that are sitting right there, some of the dads, the first Board of Education meeting. I work with a large group that strives to advocate and collaborate to address systematic issues in our schools to help create educational accountability. We believe there are many wonderful aspects of our school district and are proud the Washington Post recently named Elizabeth High School as one of the most challenging schools in America and the #1 school in the entire state of New Jersey. However, in such a large school district, certain groups of students sometimes get lost in the crowd. You may not be aware that we have 15 elementary, middle, and high school Syrian refugee students who have been in our district for several months. In contrast to the many immigrants who choose to settle in Elizabeth, these families were resettled here because they cannot return to their own country. These families have endured unimaginable hardships in a civil war that has devastated Syria and caused one of the worst refugee crises in all of human history. Sadly, many of the children in these families could no longer attend school and have lost years of education. Additionally, these children have witnessed or have been victims to the atrocities of war. Their lives have been changed forever. As a parent and a Muslim American born and raised in Elizabeth, I felt I must do something to help these Syrian families who are living here by volunteering and working with them. I feel strongly we as a community need to support these Syrian families. Unfortunately, many of these students are not doing well in their academics and do not have a positive education experience. Many of the students sit in class all day and have no idea what is being taught because they don't know how to speak English. There's a large group of volunteers from all around New Jersey who have stepped up and provide tutoring and other support for these students, but it is not enough. Many of them are failing. The Elizabeth School Administration and Board of Education have a unique opportunity to be a model for other communities. The media, including a filmmaker, writer, and a national radio station, are reporting on the Syrian refugees in Elizabeth. Wouldn't it be great if we could be in the highlight of their success? A meeting had been scheduled for April 5th with the parent volunteer leaders, but just prior to the start date, the administration canceled the meeting. Our group was told that it was to be rescheduled, but to date, in spite of reminders and additional emails, our request has not been responded to. Many of the programs and support these students need are already in existence in Elizabeth. We just need to see how best they can be used to help these students. We believe a face-to-face dialogue can help put these Syrian students back on the right path. This past academic year has been lost for most of them. Let us not have this continue. We need to help them believe that America is the land of equality and opportunity. Thank you.
We have been working very closely with Jada, and Jada, in fact, has attended our bilingual parent committee. There's been a great deal of information has been shared. Our director, Dr. Calvo, who's the director of our bilingual ESL program, has also done several presentations for your community to be able to help understand the ESL services that are being provided and all the accommodations. I think the communication has been wonderful in terms of understanding what the concerns are, and certainly to your point with regard to there's always more that can be done. Jada has been our main point of contact throughout this journey, and certainly welcome to be able to have future conversations with her and with yourselves as well. So thank you for this evening for coming.
Thank you. At this time, I'm going to have Laura Perry.
That our last speaker had mentioned here. I too am a volunteer working with these families. I am not a member of the Elizabeth community. I live in a different school district, but feel very strongly that we all can come together to help these refugees that have struggled so deeply. There are more refugees coming out of Syria than any other nation. Nearly 40% of these refugees are children. The ongoing civil war, displacement, and education disruption will impact Syrian children for years to come. Elizabeth is the first home in America for 25 Syrian children. 15 of them are in this district. As we approach the end of the school year, with just a few exceptions, these children have not made much progress. A group of volunteers was scheduled to meet with the administration, and as previously mentioned, that meeting was canceled on April 5th. The four main topics that we would like to discuss is number one, the effectiveness of the English Language Learner Program and how best to serve the students to continue to develop their language skills. After nearly a year receiving ESL instruction, many of these students still cannot speak English, much less understand what is going on in the classroom. The Elizabeth School, number two, the Elizabeth School District is required to assess the individual needs of the students. We would like to understand how this has been done, given some of the volunteers have been told by school personnel assessments can only be administered after the student gains English proficiency, which, as you know, is inconsistent with our state's education code. Additionally, several of the students have received letters indicating they may need to attend summer school because of poor performance. Academic failure can be due to many factors, including having an unidentified learning disability. What steps can be taken to ensure some of these students should not be classified for special education? Number three, with trauma as part of the student's background, what approaches are in place to have trauma-sensitive classrooms? There is significant research that shows students who suffer from trauma are impacted in many areas of academics and classroom involvement. We would welcome the opportunity to coordinate and assist with training your teachers on creating trauma-sensitive classrooms that would benefit all students. Number four, several instances of lunches being stolen, students harassing the girls who wear their head coverings, and even a teacher refusing to let a student use the toilet have been reported. Elizabeth is a diverse education community, and it is our hope these Syrian children can feel safe just like every other student. I am sure the district has many effective programs in place, and our desire is to see how best this can be consistently leveraged for the Syrian students. That is why we asked for the meeting with you. 2 hours of your time with all this focus on the students' collective needs can result in a more successful education experience for them. Thank you.
Khalid Bendens. Yes. Yes, Bendens.
Mr. Abram here has 6 kids. Currently, 3 of them are in the school system, 2 are in the high school, the middle school, and I have been helping them as a volunteer tutor sometimes, translator most of the time. The challenges the children are being going through, mainly because they don't speak the language, but they have been placed in classes that maybe by age, but not necessarily by their skills. They have missed a few years of education, and I heard that they have been placed up and down to try to find the proper class for them. This should not have been happening. It never happens in any district. When you have a newcomer from any country, the first thing you do, you start from scratch to find where they are at. The families have no objection to place these kids in lower classes in order to have them learn what need to be learned to succeed one day. 4 years of their education being missed, one more actually being missed. I don't think they even care of missing another year if the right program would be mandated for them so they could succeed. It's very hard to sit the whole day and not understand what's being said. ESL is not designed to talk to any language. Unfortunately, it's designed as bilingual. They don't have ESL, but even when they get ESL once every 4 weeks, they sit in a class and now they can't tell the difference between English and Spanish. That's not fair. It's frustration. These are teenagers. You don't want to frustrate teenagers. They're very good-natured kids because they have seen so much in life. They're so appreciative they actually come to school, okay? But I think summer is approaching. It is the time to work hard on assessing these children so you place them where they can learn. And if they do that, they will do it fast because they're really motivated. You can ask the volunteers that they work for them. You can ask Jade. I beg you to do something for these children because it's just when you have a happy child, it's bound to happen and make the others unhappy in the class. And so far it has not happened. But please, find a proper ESL program for them so they can catch up in the language. And then, for example, I help them with their homework. If they don't know their addition fact, how they're supposed to do multiplication? They have gaps. We don't know where to start with them. We need help. You have an army of volunteers. And we could be more effective if we know what these kids need to do.
Thank you. May I have your name? May I have your name? The name of the school.
WAFA, W-A-F-A.
W-A-F-A.
Esposito, E-S-P-O.
E-S-P-O-S-I-T-O. Thank you. So I'm going to actually make sure that that Wafa, Laura, and Gazel, the three of you, meet with myself and the superintendent. Okay?
We will be looking forward to do that.
We will, just the three of you. Okay?
We actually have also another member who's been helping these families.
We'll speak offline
Yes,
about that.
exactly.
If you can just give Melanie your information. I know I have some cell phone numbers here. I thought I had cell number. Just still give it to her, please. Thank you very much. And I apologize to the parents who are here who feel their children are not really getting an education that they really should have right now. You know, I understand that it's really hard when you come from a different country. You know, I have a lot of family who come from Haiti, and sometimes when they come here, it is a totally different language. You don't know what's happening, you don't understand, and it's really hard to really kind of understand and kind of get in the middle of everything. So I understand what you're saying, and I just want to say that we're here with you, and we're going to try to see if we can come to a resolution. Okay?
I would like to mention that the district was proactive in hiring 2 dual-certified ESL teachers that are Arabic-speaking teachers. They are at the high school level as well as the elementary level, helping our new community adjust to the transition to this country. So I'd be interested in speaking to you further with regard to that, because we specifically hired the Arabic-speaking ESL teachers to be able to work with the students with our port of entry program. So I look forward to our conversation. Yes, at the high school and elementary.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
spread out throughout the district. So 2
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to have Christina Marrera come up and speak, please.
I just want to say that I appreciate, Charlene, you extending the invitation to the 3 of them, but we were all part of that meeting, the meeting that you guys canceled on the same day. So I would like to be at that meeting too, since I was also on that email address to you. So now I'll continue with my speech. I don't want to get cut off. I have to.
You can stop the time, actually.
Okay,
stop to say something. Because I was not at the meeting that you are referring to, so I'm setting up a new meeting with the 3 of them, and that's why I said, so I don't know what meeting you're referring to, but that's not a meeting that I'm saying right now to have for the 3 of them.
Okay, I would like to be a part of that meeting, since I was a part of the first original one.
And we can speak offline about that.
Okay.
And can you start her time over, please?
Okay, I come before you again today to inform you of several issues. The first is the PART test, and this current board evasion of putting in place a procedure as advised by the state and disseminating it to parents. This lack of inaction has resulted in administration at schools lying to children and parents, telling them they will not graduate if they don't take the PART test, and that they can't refuse. Principals, I'm sorry, you have something to say? Oh. Principals coercing children into taking tests, not getting their proper lunches, children being denied bathroom usage who refuse testing. Today at my daughter's school, a child's refusal note was torn up and she was made to take the test. This begs the question, what type of people do we have running our schools? Principals and VPs are in charge of the day-to-day operations of the schools. Who is overseeing them? When was the last time the superintendent or the assistant superintendents went into a school to see what was happening and the conditions that they are learning in, without a camera crew? What is more disturbing is the environment at School 28 created by the principal of fear and tyranny. 7th and 8th grade children were subjected to shoe removal, pockets turned inside out, and baggage searches before taking the PART test.
no parental consent was obtained. What type of environment is being created at that school? Children who refuse the test were not allowed to use the bathroom. Even more concerning was an incident that occurred during MAP testing, another standardized test given on the computer, where children were told not to submit their answers until a teacher verified it. Otherwise, they would be sent to the principal's office and suspended. Why would a principal do this? To ensure high test results so that we can hang blue ribbons on our schools? This is cheating on a grand scale. I am aware this is being investigated thanks to courageous parents who informed Elizabeth parents and students care of what is happening. I have no doubt this is the first time something like this has happened, as I know for a fact principals have been fired in this district for cheating. It is just a matter of how many get caught. This is the environment created by high-stakes testing. I also want to mention again, as I did at the last board meeting, about the lack of transparency this board has about the 2013 high levels of lead found at schools. That is gross negligence on the part of this board and the superintendent, and her excuse that she was not superintendent at the time is unacceptable. I open requested again maintenance records and the type of filters used. I continue to get no retrievable records. What is this district trying to hide? I am requesting in public, Mr. Kennedy, I would like the brand of filters used in 2013 and the schedule of the regular maintenance of filters, the regular maintenance of the filters and the tests being given.
At this time, I'm going to have Ms. Maria Lorenz come and speak, please.
Good evening. I want to start again by saying that there are still severe issues within the CPAC. I want you to know that 73% of districts do not have one. That is a problem. And it's really nice to see the children perform for the first time since I've been attending board meetings now, to see that there are special needs kids that can't perform, because different does not mean that they are less. I want us to be able to create a CPAC that is non-discriminatory and is independent, not something that we copy off another district. This is something that we need to create that is fundamental and should pertain just to this district. I also want to praise you for the forensic audit. I thought that was fabulous. The preliminary findings were made public. I heard a lot of oohs and ahs and some policy changes, but what I failed to see was this board take action on what was the accountability. The board members mentioned were not to blame. It is the job of the purchasing agent to procure goods and services and determine the method of procurement, direct purchase, or bid, and maintain a bidder list. The district has an accounts payable supervisor. That individual reports to the comptroller. The comptroller manages and controls the financial resources of the district, administers and supervises the accounting, payroll, accounts payable and purchasing, supervise and maintain financial records, and controls the income and disbursement of money. The comptroller reports to Mr. Kennedy, the board secretary. Policy 3320, purchasing procedures state that purchasing is to be centralized under the board secretary. Policy 3326 states that payment for goods and services, bills, or claims shall be audited by the board secretary. Having said this, I fail to see where the board members mentioned were at fault. I say that those that should be held accountable are the purchasing agent and the comptroller, who have ironically retired. That leaves you with a supervisor of payroll, and it leaves you with Mr. Kennedy. I am all for transparency, but it means absolutely nothing if you don't hold those responsible for their actions. In the words of Stephen Cover, accountability breeds responsibility, and in this district, I have seen neither. I'm sorry, I thought I heard a comment. No? Oh, is that another public comment?
All right, at this time, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Madam, I would like to recognize elected official Sergio Gananes, our chosen freeholder, vice chairman.
At this time, I'm going to have Ms. Elizabeth Figueroa. Ms. Elizabeth? She's not here. Ms. Elizabeth? No, on Court Street? Oh, she's signed in too, okay. At this time, thank you. At this time, I'm gonna have Rachel Quijano. Rachel Quijano. Okay. She's here. I see. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Rachel Kehan. I am a parent of a student who goes to school 28. She's also a parent of a child who goes to school 28. We have some issues and concerns about how the principal is running the school. My child was denied bathroom usage during the park.
I can't hear her.
My child was denied bathroom usage during the children who were taking part. My child refused, well, I refused to park for my child, and my child was also denied bathroom usage. Another thing that I wanted to express myself tonight was the pat-downs that happen in that school before the children enter. Not only enter, because all three of my children were refused from taking the park. Two of them attend 28. One with the bathroom issue, she's an 8th grader, and I also have a 6th grader. The 6th grader, as well as the 7th and 8th graders, were patted down, shoes taken off, and she told us that, the principal told us that it was for checking the cell phones to make sure there was no cheating and stuff like that.
Mi nombre es Gladys Felicier. También tengo una hija en la escuela 28.
I'm sorry, you need, yes, can you please assist her, please? Can you stop the time to translate?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Mi nombre es Gladys Felicier y también tengo una hija en la escuela 28.
My name is Gladys and I also have a child at school 28.
Yo tuve el privilegio de conversar con ella y que me dijera qué sucedía en la escuela con los niños que estaban tomando el test.
I had the privilege of speaking with other students that were taking the test.
Y sí me confesó que le sacaron los zapatos, que le quitaron la chaqueta, que le despojaron los bultos.
And I was told that they took her jacket and ¿qué más?
Le quitaron los zapatos.
And they took her shoes off.
Y la revisaron.
And they also patted her down.
Yo me molesté y sí hablé con la directora.
I was upset and I spoke to the principal.
Porque le dije que mi hija no iba a ninguna prisión.
So I told her that my daughter was not in prison.
Ni a ningún sitio que la revisara.
And no place where she could be.
Que a donde ella iba era a la escuela a estudiar.
She was going to school to study.
Yo pienso que este test que están cogiendo los niños no es para que motivo de asustarlos ni de hacerles ese tipo de presión.
I don't think that the test that they are taking, there's any need to put pressure on the children.
Si quieren que los niños salgan bien,
If they want the students to do well,
que el maestro trabaje con los niños
the teacher must work with the students.
y el día del test el maestro revise
And the day that they're taking the test, the teacher walks around
y vea que ningún niño esté haciendo ningún chiri como yo.
and make sure that no student is doing anything inappropriate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one more thing to say.
I'm sorry, your time is up, hon.
I know, but my child was threatened in that assembly that took place before the math test. And not only was an 8th grader, like I said,
I'm so sorry. I can't. I'm sorry. Okay. If you can just, and the superintendent for your school is Mr. Cuesta. If you can just bring that to him and speak to him, I would appreciate it.
Why don't you go see Mr. Cuesta now?
Thank you. Again, as an individual, when I go to the airport, I don't like taking off my shoes and taking off my belt and taking off everything when I enter the building. So I don't expect for a testing for a child or children to do the same. So I do have an issue with that. And I would like for Mr. Cuesta and our superintendent to make sure that they take care of this issue and just kind of figure out something and do an investigation on what happened. Because if a parent is saying that, and I know that I, as an adult, feel uncomfortable when I do that, I don't want to have to enter a building to take a test that I have to remove everything that's on my body. So I think that we need to make sure that we're treating our children the same across the board. So if the high school's not doing it and the other schools not doing it, we should not be doing that. That's not something that's coming from the board. So please know that's not something that we are implementing. At this time, I'm going to have Ms. Giovanna Laressa.
Necesito traductor, por favor.
You want to
Translator.
Okay, Ms. Can I call you right back? Can I have someone else come? Ms. Giovanna? Can I have someone else speak, and then as soon as he's done, I'll have you come up? Yes. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. At this time, I'm going to have Mr. Michael Ward.
Yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and members of the board. I'm Michael Ward, and I'm the father of a second grade student currently enrolled at Lafayette School number 6. In the 2013-2014 school year, my son was in kindergarten at school 6. One day, while under the supervision of a substitute teacher, another student got a hold of a pair of scissors and managed to cut my son's finger. How the child managed to get those scissors was never looked into. 2, my son was assaulted last year and suffered a concussion. After sweeping the bullying incident under the rug, it took over 2 months and finally threatening legal action against the district before being contacted by a home instructor. 3, after this incident, my son was labeled a, quote, problematic child, end quote, by his principal. 4, at the beginning of this year, my son was assaulted by a special needs assistant. His arm was twisted behind his back, which caused him shoulder pain for several days. When the incident was reported, my son was called, quote, the boy who cries wolf, end quote, and was accused of lying, again, by his principal. The assistant was given the rest of the day off. My son's class was switched. He's now in the one class out of 5 grade 2 classes in school 6 that consists of all the children the principal has labeled problematic. The assistant was never investigated. Another major traumatic incident whitewashed by the principal and district. This class 5. This class was also the only class to be excluded from a class trip. The trip was organized by my son's original second grade teacher. My wife brought it to the attention of who was then the vice principal, who attempted to rectify the problem. Within a couple days, he was being transferred to another school. The other classes were told to proceed with their plans. My son's class was promised their own trip, which never happened. 6 days later, while waiting in line, a 3rd grade student who lives in our neighborhood punched my son in the neck, leaving a bruise. Several of his classmates were witnesses to it and confirmed the story to their teacher. The principal did nothing other than threaten my son with, quote, trouble if he found out my son started it. This boy is known to start fights on an almost daily basis, and nothing has happened. 7, not too long after there was an incident involving 2 students in my son's class, they were viewing pornographic material on a school-assigned laptop. The teacher attempted to address the issue with their parents and the school administration. The principal decided to remove all laptops from the classroom. Days later, the teacher found herself being placed on administrative suspension. One of the 2 students was accusing her of assaulting him. There were no witnesses, no marks, no bruises, or any other supporting evidence. It's been over 2 months and she's still in the rubber room, which brings me to my last point. There are currently 15 full-time EPS faculty members in the, quote, rubber room. The group is comprised mostly of teachers with an aide, a custodian, and a bus driver in the mix.
Thank you for your time. Your time has come to end. But Mr. Ward, I would like for you to speak to the Assistant Superintendent Cortez, Mr. Vossler, and the Vice Principal, School 6, Mr. Petit, who's in the back. So if you guys can just speak to him, please, I would appreciate it. Mr. Costa's back. Ms. Giovanna. Mr. Costa, could you please assist her? Yes, please. Thank you.
Muy buenas tardes, miembros del Comité Educativo en general y público presente.
Good evening, members of the board and the public at large.
Como todos los meses, estoy aquí presente en calidad de padre y como representante de la organización ILEO.
Like every month, I'm here as a parent and also as a representative of the organization ILEO.
Para exponer algunos puntos que son de mucha importancia para el desarrollo y progreso de los estudiantes.
So I can speak about several topics that are very important to the development of the students.
Entre ellos está la continuidad de los miembros de las escuelas a seguir forzando a los estudiantes a tomar los exámenes PAP.
One of those topics is the continuation of the schools to force students to take the exam PARCC.
Habiendo previamente ellos o sus padres rechazado dicho examen.
Even though the parents had earlier indicated that they did not want their kids to take the exam.
El hostigamiento constante y la presión que ejercen sobre ellos es inaceptable, ya que se quedó establecido que este examen es opcional.
It is unacceptable, the intimidation to make sure the students take the test, even though it has been well established that it's optional.
El otro punto es el control en cada escuela sobre el manejo y el desarrollo de PTO o PTA.
Another topic is how schools handle the PTO or the PTA.
Los cuales ejercen los miembros de las escuelas y hasta qué punto involucran a los padres en este comité.
In this organization, up to what point do you involve the parents in the committee?
Nosotros hicimos una pequeña encuesta a algunos padres de diferentes escuelas y nos dimos con la sorpresa que varios padres no sabían cuál era el rol del PTO.
We did a survey among several schools and we found that there are many parents, we were surprised to find that there are many parents who do not understand the role of the PTO or PTA in those schools.
¿Por qué? Porque nunca fueron invitados a participar en ellos y mucho menos a ser parte de este.
Why? Because they were never invited to be part of them and of course not even participate.
Significa que técnicamente las escuelas cuentan con PTA o PTO, pero no tienen a ningún padre integrado en él bajo el protocolo del Departamento del Estado.
Essentially, the schools could say that they have a PTO or PTA, but they do not function or follow the protocol established by the New Jersey Department of Education, and that is not acceptable.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and I hope you address this issue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, Mr. Costa, also needs a translator. Ms. Texeria.
Buenas tardes a todos.
Good evening, everyone.
Hoy hemos venido algunos padres de la escuela número 15.
Today, some parents from school 15 are here.
Una vez más para solicitar, por favor,
Once again, to ask you please
que el sistema eléctrico de la escuela sea reparado.
to fix the electrical system in the school
En el verano los niños puedan tener el aire acondicionado que necesitan.
so that the children can enjoy the air conditioning that they need.
Tuve la oportunidad de hablar con el señor Couto
I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Cotto,
y me sorprendió que me dijera que en el pasado, tal vez no muchos años atrás,
and I was surprised to hear from him that in the past, perhaps not too many years ago,
se había aprobado un presupuesto para esta escuela
the budget had been approved for that school,
y que debido a necesidades en otra escuela,
but because there were needs in another school,
ese dinero se había usado.
that money was used.
Y si esto es cierto,
And that is true.
me gustaría saber cuándo se piensa regresar ese dinero a la escuela
I
15.
would like to know when that money will be returned to school 15.
Nuestros niños estudian mucho y aunque sean niños también se estresan mucho.
Our children study hard, and even though they are children, they also express themselves a lot.
Y con esta actitud, no quiero ser respetuosa, pero evasiva de la parte del board.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but with this no compliance from the board.
Solo pensamos que a veces solamente les importan las escuelas academias o las escuelas que tienen niños talentosos.
The board then only cares about the academies and the school and represent down the schools.
Pero déjenme recordarles que
I would like to remind you,
los niños que están en esas escuelas
the children that are attending those schools,
se desarrollan y se preparan en las escuelas que no son talentosas.
they work and prepare themselves, even though schools are not giving them time.
Y que muchísimos niños no van a asistir a esas escuelas.
Many children will never attend the schools.
No porque no tengan la capacidad, porque todos tienen talentos diferentes.
Not because they don't have the skills and capacity, because children have different skills.
Sino porque tal vez así lo desean.
But perhaps because that's what they choose to do.
¿Por qué entonces tienen que ser discriminados o catalogados como estudiantes de segunda clase?
Why then they have to be discriminated or called students second class?
Los días calientes ya están aquí, el verano está aquí.
Summer is coming here.
Y los niños ya están padeciendo calor en la escuela 15.
It's already very hot for school 15.
Les recuerdo también que el dinero que la administración usa es de los taxes que todos los papás pagamos.
I also remind you that the money that the administration utilizes comes from the taxpayers.
Thank you very much. Your time has come to an end. At this time, I'm going to call Ms. Seema.
Thank you. Good evening. First, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank. Do you want me to wait or? Thanks. First, I want to take the opportunity to thank you guys for addressing over 700 parents' concerns last month with regards to keeping the children safe and our petition, as well as handling the needs of the employee and balancing the concerns of the community. So thank you. The second thing I want to address, the district has a dress code policy, number 5133, with regards to uniforms. And while many of our schools hold the policy and follow it as it's written, other schools don't follow it the way it's written. So, for example, some schools may have a tag day where the kids get to wear whatever they want, not in uniform, where other schools maybe have a shirt they can wear over their uniform, and that's the extent of it. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that one high school, for example, should be rewarded with a full tag day that's not in accordance with the dress code, but yet another school should be penalized and those children only have to wear a special shirt on top of their uniform. And some schools, like mine, don't get tag days at all, where a change of clothes, they'll get to wear something over, but that's about it. And they'd have to pay for it. So I think if there's a policy in place, the district should have it uniformly, ironically that's the word, but uniformly followed, where all the schools are obligated to do the same. Same with field trips. On field trips, I have one group who get to go with kind of a more dressed down than another. Until recently, I know a statement was put out that everybody had to wear either the gym clothes or just the bottoms with a shirt. But that's after parents, I guess, reached out and with concern. So that's a safety concern. And lastly, as I'm sitting here, I'm watching when someone who needs an interpreter comes up, their time is taking double the amount of time because you have someone come and they're being, using their speech. So I don't think that's fair. They get cut from 3 minutes to a minute and a half because the person's translating. So they don't get their full 3 minutes. And I think that people come here, there should be a safe place where they should verbalize their concerns, and if they're given 3 minutes, then they should have 3 minutes to speak. If the time for the interpretation, I don't think that that's fair that they don't get their 3 minutes full. And I don't think people should be mocked for needing an interpreter. If that's their home language and they feel comfortable, I don't think there should be a peanut gallery saying something. I don't think that should be tolerated. You're a professional board, we respect you, people vote you into office. You should host a professional forum where, I'm sorry? Are you speaking to me? I'm sorry.
Can you continue?
So I just think that you should host, I think you should hold people accountable and provide them with translation if they need it, and give them what they come to address you for, just your attention. You know, no disrespect, but look at people, not be speaking to people in the audience, not be playing on the phones. We respect you, we come and bring our concerns to you, and I think that it goes a long way to show people for those 3 minutes that you're paying attention to them. Thank you.
I'm glad you brought the time for the translator up, because Commissioner Stanier just reached over to me prior to you speaking and saying that, you know, we should probably increase the time, and I said that not this meeting, since you just brought it up, but we can talk about that for next meeting. So your concern right there is taken care of. But just something in general, you know, I feel like a lot of times people expect us as elected officials to act a certain way and to do things the way that they want us to do it. And I think that people should also just kind of understand that we're humans and we're just ordinary people just like you are. You know, we're here trying to do something for the community. We're doing a selfless act. You know, this is a time out of our schedule that we come here. We have tons of meetings. So sometimes, you know, our attention, we're paying attention, we're writing notes, and you may not see me writing notes, but I'm not writing notes. I may not look at you the entire time, because something that you're saying may want me to move over and say something to the superintendent or to the attorney. But I also want us to understand that we shouldn't be mandated to act a certain way or to do a certain thing. Like, just understand that we are humans as well. You understand? And I don't tell you to act a certain way or do something, and I think you respect us and respect our position as well. You know, yes, we're elected officials, and you put us here, that is correct. You put us here. But I ask that you just be mindful of that as well, too. Okay? Thank you. And our next speaker is Miss Maria Montez, right? Montez? Yes. Awesome. And,
Good evening, members of the Board of Education, parents, teachers, and fellow residents. My name is Maria Montes, and I am the mother of one student attending school number 12 and one attending school number 7. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to inquire you about the real status and, most importantly, the effective plan of action the Board of Ed is going to develop regarding the lead found in the water of our public schools. The problem was found back in 2013. At that time, some measures were taken. Some pipes were allegedly changed and some water filters were installed. However, the problem surfaced again, and until today, none of our children has been tested. The lead in the water is dangerous to all of the people who drink it. The children run risk of loss of IQ. They also run the risk of blood problems. Again, I, like as many other parents, would like to ask you, what are we going to do about this problem? That is the question that we all want the answer to, because I truly believe that it is enough time has passed and the issue has not been addressed with the parents in a clear tone. Let's prioritize our values. Having good academic skills is great, but for a parent, no other goal will be more important than to raise healthy children. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You know, we've been having some meetings in regards to this issue of lead that had just resurfaced. And again, as you mentioned, the last time we had a test was in 2013, and we're working on implementing some time to do evaluations every 3 years. So every 3 years, that would mean that it would be right now in 2016. And we have a resolution that I'm looking for, but I just can't find it right now. Oh, it's cute. Okay, and I just want, as I look at it really quick, I just want our attorney, Jonathan Williams, to say a few words in regards to that.
Thank you, Charlene. The resolution that is on for consideration and hopefully adoption tonight authorizes the commencement of a process which would lead to lead testing and laboratory services for all the schools, not only for water fountains, but also would also, I think, be very proactive and be ahead of new state policy for sinks in the classrooms as well. We're going to engage in an RFP process under competitive contracting to select a vendor to come in and do all of that testing. We're going to do it very quickly, and we've also, in the resolution, reserved the right to see if those services are available through state contract, which would allow us to cut the time for commencement of the actual testing in half.
And at this time, I'm going to actually ask the board member to move resolution 10-0. Resolution authorizing the insurance of a request for proposal pursuant to the public school contract law competitive contract NJSA 18A/4.1 in connection with the Elizabeth Board of Education district-wide testing for the presence of the lead in water.
Motion to move the resolution. Second.
It's been moved and probably a second to accept this resolution. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. So just know that we are, this is a very important issue for us. We already had it here, we wanted to address it, and moving forward, every 3 years, we're going to be making sure that we test the lead. So thank you for your comments, Ms. Maria. And our last speaker for the evening is Ms. Patricia Brody. It says Brady.
Miss Brady.
The Brady button. It's not Brady, sorry, Brady. You know that one.
Thank you. Hello, and I just want to say good evening, and I might be babbling, I don't know, but I'm here for a reason. I believe everything happens for a reason. And the most amazing thing that happened tonight, the girl who was sitting next to me, Angelina Azurdia, was my former student. So I know I'm here for a reason, and things have been going on. I've been in the district long enough to see the changes going on in our district. I was a former kindergarten teacher, and it was outside time, it was block time, it was playtime, we went to high scope, it was work time, and I saw amazing things happen. Over the years, okay, let's get rid of the block area in kindergarten, okay, no more going outside, and we've kind of gotten a lot into assess. My main concern is I'm a very big proponent of the Common Core standards. I mean, if we truly look at the Common Core standards, they are very age appropriate, very attainable by the students. However, I don't think that our tools that we sometimes use and the Common Core standards to reach those Common Core standards, I don't think they're at times a very good match. And there's other things that we can do. And basically, when I began teaching was kind of my domain. And over the years, I just see changes that teaching little by little has been taken away from the teachers. And all I'm asking is that maybe there'll be round tables again or something to actually listen to teachers and that we can actually work together because we have a wealth of knowledge. We go teaching the same student, the same age level, year after year after year, and we kind of know the age levels and what's appropriate. And I just want learning to be fun and to be appropriate for the children that we teach. Children are, it's sad right now, I'm currently a second grade teacher. At the second grade level, okay, they're still enthusiastic, and at the end of the day, when my children say, oh, it's time to go home already, I know we've had fun, but they've also learned.
But when I talk to the children, they're like, oh, I don't want to come to school and this and that. It bothers me because teaching is my passion. I chose Elizabeth for a reason. And I just want children to know that teaching can be fun. And my former student, Angelina Zurdia, you know, she's sitting in the orchestra and she's not sitting there remembering, oh, well, you know what, I'm here because I took this benchmark assessment. I'm here because of this. I'm here because I got an education. And I think we really need to just kind of sit down and look over what we're doing together, because we're in it together. And I appreciate you listening to us and taking things into consideration. And keep smiling. Thank you.
At this time, I close the public comment portion of the meeting. And I just want to say also to Ms. Patricia, I love the fact that you said to keep smiling. That's one of the things I always tell people to do. You need to make sure that we always smile at all times, or just try to. It's really something that I love to say to people, just smile, keep a smile on your face. At this time, I'm going to open up the floor to any board members if they would like to say anything.
Yes, Madam President. Thank you, Ms. Brady, and all the speakers that came up tonight. But I want to address the last concern in regards to what education management can do. As a board, we can evaluate what, some of the suggestions that you have. So can I recommend that you put some of those suggestions in writing and get it to our superintendent so that we can talk about it in education management and see how we can work around some of those issues. All right? Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. I'm going to try to address a bunch of the concerns here. First, I do want to congratulate our new Elizabeth Education Association President, Joe Cortizo. If we can give him a round of applause. Congratulations. Looking forward to new leadership, so thank you and good luck in the future. We had a lot of speakers. I think our public portion lasted over an hour, which just to let you guys know that I don't think that's happened in the past 3 years where it's gone that much. It's good and bad because sometimes I think what the public doesn't understand is as board members, not to kind of belittle, but we need the public to tell us what's going on. Tell us the complaints. We give you our phone numbers, our personal cell phone numbers. I think when you come and speak with us, you get that personal phone number that we use, we pick up, and we answer as fast as we can, as soon as we can, and we need to know the concerns of the public. We don't know sometimes the things that are going on in the school. Sometimes some of those things don't reach the superintendent in time. There are many layers to the administration, good or bad, but that's just the way it is in a big school district like ours. And we need to know those things. So a lot of times when you come up to the microphone, I know some of you may be angry, you're frustrated, and these issues have been occurring over and over again. Thank you for coming up. I know it sounds a lot of times like we're taking the hits personally because we don't do this, we don't do that, but we know that those are the kinds of things that we need to hear so that we can work together with the superintendent and with administration to fix these issues. Most of the time, these are not issues that we wipe under the carpet, as many times some people think it is. We need to know these things to fix them. For instance, in school 13, a parent reached out to me about that issue with the principal. I spoke with the superintendent yesterday, and again, we need an investigation. Like we always know, there's always 3 sides to every story: your side, my side, and then the truth. So we need to always investigate both sides before we move on anything, because we do deal with students. We're not dealing always with adults. We're dealing with students and adults, or student-to-student issues, or student-to-administration, or a myriad of issues. Also, the School 28 issue with the testing. We can't really speak about personnel issues, but that was brought up to us. It was something that was very shocking. It happens, and we try to take care of it. Like the speaker said, in the past, we did have a principal that was found to have cheated. We took care of that. That person is no longer working here. So there are repercussions to things that happen in this district. Again, sometimes the process is slow and it becomes frustrating at times, but It happens. Sometimes not at the speed that you'd like, and we apologize for that. The other things I wanted to talk about is Dr. Galante. I know graduation rates has been an issue that I ran on. I'm a high school teacher, so it's something that's very important to us. The graduation rate is something that we do need to improve. What I do want to tell you is that we have been improving that graduation rate. 3 years ago, our graduation rate total was under 70%. Today we hover at 78.1%. That was last year that we graduated at. We do have 6 high schools. The graduation rates vary. Our top 2 high schools graduated above a 90%, and the other 4 high schools graduate anywhere from 70 to 72% last year. So we're above what we would call a D range. The state now has graduation rates as if you get a student freshman year, they need to graduate within 4 years. If not, that person, you take a hit for the graduation rate. Our special ed population, like many of us know, some of those students go to the age of 21, so they actually stay in our high schools for 7 years. That's not an excuse, you just need to know that. One thing that I'll even say here, we need to improve the special education graduation rate. That, we are lagging behind most other districts, and we are working on that. We were speaking with Mr. Cortez. We have many programs to help these students. Credit recovery, Saturday programs, tutoring programs, online programs, credit recovery, like I said, summer school. We are now finding, I was working with the superintendent, we found some money that is actual federally guaranteed money through Title I to get some climate and culture coaching. And what they would do is actually work with those students that are most at risk, especially as freshmen, to work with those students one-to-one, to mentor them and to get them to actually graduate within 4 years. So we will continue to improve. Again, I know it's not fast enough, not for me, but we are moving in a positive direction. Again, that is not, I don't want that to seem like an excuse. We do have an issue with the graduation rate. In terms of the CPAC, I had the pleasure of attending a CPAC meeting in Jersey City. It seems like 3 years ago, but I think it was last month, where they actually allowed me to go in and see how they run a CPAC. I was able to gather a lot of good information, and we actually spoke about that at the last special education meeting, how we're going to change the policy. And so we should either have maybe a revised policy May, June, or somewhere in the summer. We're looking to expand the use of our CPAC. Right now, the CPAC, they're doing good things, but it's not enough. They have, right, and some of the workshops are useful. And so we're going to expand that next year, and we're going to expand the public's role and actually the way that you can actually apply to it. So we took some input from Jersey City, but we also took some input from the public, and we're going to work on a new policy to go from there. Sorry, I was taking notes. Also, I know the Syrian families, they left, but it's not just our issue here, it's across the state. We don't have, across the state, I believe 2 years ago, there was only 4 teachers that graduated within state schools who had Arabic and ESL as their certificates. Those 4 teachers were offered, from what I heard, over 10 jobs each throughout the state of New Jersey. We are actively looking for teachers who are duly certified in ESL and Arabic. We are desperately looking for them. We hired 2, but we need more. This year, the budget that we proposed has, again, 0 tax increase. No teachers being laid off, and we're actually increasing our ESL and our bilingual teachers. We are actively looking for a number of them. So this is actually a call to the public, and again, I know they're not here, but if you know of any teacher anywhere in pretty much the country or anywhere that can be or is duly certified in Arabic and in ESL, we would gladly offer them a job here. All right, so if anybody has any contacts, that is actually a call to the public. We're actively looking for those So we are trying to help these students, we really are. They have major social issues in terms of what they've been through, economic issues. Where I teach, we have a couple of refugee students also from Syria that have some major issues also that we're working with them. So it is a statewide issue, and we're looking, to help them more. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. Anyone else? Okay. At this time, I'm actually going to call up just a short report from our forensic auditors, Mr. Dieter Lurch, as well as Mr. Lester Taylor. And
board members, if you could just bear with us for about 30 seconds while we plug in a USB for the projector.
So we're just going to skip around a little bit as you wait for your thing to get plugged in. And I'm going to just have some, you're ready? Are you sure?
We'll start. And good evening, Madam President, Madam Superintendent, members of the board. I am Lester Taylor of the law firm of Florida, Steinhardt & Fader, Special Counsel to the School District. Along with us this evening is Dieter Lurch from the firm Lurch, Vinci & Higgins. One update from the last meeting concerning the resolution passed by this board directing the policy committee to review and revise the policy governing emergency purchases. I just want to update the board to note that my firm has met with the in-district purchasing agent to review existing protocols and procedures. It's our intent to not only update the policy for review with the policy committee, but also assist the administration in updating and drafting regulations to be in conformity with this board's action and direction last month. I do expect or anticipate to request a meeting with the policy committee between now and the next board meeting in anticipation of having a policy for review and recommended approval. With that, I'll turn the floor over to Mr. Lurch for his presentation, and I do have one resolution that I will disseminate to the board for your consideration this evening.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I also want to report that we also did a follow-up with respect to a report we issued at last month's meeting regarding those individuals that were receiving health benefits from the district that are no longer eligible to receive those benefits. The district did in fact agree with our findings with respect to approximately 31 individuals that are no longer eligible, and I believe they've been removed or are in the process of being removed right now. That will save the district approximately $200,000 a year. So I just want to report that. Thank you. Part of our review, part of our forensic review, we actually took a look for the 5-year period, and we did a review of the district's agendas. And I just put up on the screen, and I just want to spend a few minutes, and I'm going to try to keep it on a common law level, not as a CSI type report. But what I pulled up, and there's a conclusion to it, and there's certainly something that's very important as a result of this. As a result of looking at the agenda, I just call you, and the December 13, 2012 board agenda is up on the screen. And one of the issues that came to our attention is that the agenda appears to have been altered. And the reason why I say, if you look at the screen, it appears to have been altered with respect to one of the vendors, Bayway Lumber. And you'll notice that the format, and all of us use this word, and the word perfect, the format, if you look at the lines, they're not parallel. So that's what really raised the suspicion. Just moving down the screen a little, can you please go back? I want to go to the bottom of the screen. Upon further investigation of this matter, what we did is we took a review of your computer data, and the actual meeting took place on December 13th, 2012. The file was created about a week later, January 13th, a month later, which is ordinary, so it was put into your system. However, what certainly is not ordinary is that this file was actually modified in 2016. So this file was in fact modified 3 years after the meeting took place. I'd like to just move to the next screen if I can. We also can just go back a little bit. I want to show the agenda thing. This is an agenda that the board had on January 23rd, 2014. Now, if you move the slide down a little bit, I want you to pay particular attention to, keep going. Just another, right there, stop. If you'll see once again, the line for Bayway Lumber, the agenda appears to have been altered. Once again, the line is not parallel. We then also took a look at the data history. If you can move down, please. And stop right there. The January 13th meeting, the file was created once again about a month later, which is typical business time. But once again, that file was altered in July of 2014, approximately 7 months after the meeting took place. I'd like to now just focus for 1 or 2 minutes on what the relevancy of this is. Bayway Lumber is a vendor that the district purchased all sorts of hardware, lumber, rain gear, stain, etc., etc. They had a state contract, and the state contract was only for locks and related hardware. They did not have a state contract for all these miscellaneous type items. The district spent with Bayway Lumber, and this appears to be the purchases appear to have been camouflage, I don't want to use that word, appear to have been issued under the state contract, even though the state contract was very limited. The purchases under this quote-unquote state contract totaled $528,000. The bulk of that, 95.99 whatever percent, over 95%, had nothing to do with locks or related hardware. Let me move to the second issue with Bayway Lumber. Bayway Lumber's contract, even for these quote locks unquote, expired. The contract expired with the state, a 5-year contract with the state of New Jersey. The contract expired July 31st, 2014. Mind you, up to this point, you had spent about $500,000. But the contract expires July 31st, 2014, meaning that the district is no longer authorized to do business with Bayway Lumber, certainly not in an amount to exceed the bid threshold, which was $26,000. However, when we took a look at the agendas going forward, on January 13th, 2015, someone in the district placed Bayway Lumber on the agenda for the board to approve as a state contract. They were no longer a state vendor. They were no longer eligible to be placed on your agenda to be approved as a state vendor. That resolution was approved. The district then proceeded to do purchases with Bayway Lumber while they were no longer eligible as a state vendor the district spent an additional $230,000 with Bayway Lumber when they were no longer an eligible state contractor. And I think we have a recommendation, and we consulted special counsel. Our recommendation is they are not an eligible state vendor, that this district discontinue purchasing items from Bayway Lumber until the procurement process complies with the local public contracts law. And furthermore, I think General Counsel has some comments with respect to payments to Bayway Lumber. And maybe I would like Mr. Lester Taylor just to describe the resolution that you're recommending with respect to these findings, if I may.
Thank you, Mr. Lurch. If the board would like, I can read the resolution to the record for the board's consideration this evening. All right, the title is Resolution to Terminate the District's Association with Bayway Lumber of Linden, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Madam President, I move the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution to discontinue any further business or communication or partnership with Bayway Lumber in Linden, New Jersey. Any comments or questions?
Yes, Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. Gentlemen, again, thank you. I know, I think every single dollar that we've paid you and will probably end up paying you is going to be worth it because of the money that you're saving us and the malfeasance that you've been able to dig up in the past. I just looked at the claims list also, and I don't think it's part of this resolution. It's not. But later, I would ask my fellow colleagues on the board to not approve any of the Bayway Lumber payments that are on tab 9 later. I'll bring it up again later, but we do have payments here. Again, I know it's not on the resolution, but we should look to stop the bleeding tonight on this. So, thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Just one more minute, if I can indulge the board for 1 minute.
I need to move the resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any other comments from the board members? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, Mr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one final item for the board's consideration. Follow up from last month's report. One of the vendors was with respect to emergency purchases, and there was over 25 different quote-unquote emergency purchases. That vendor is Central Jersey Roofing. They are on the agenda this evening again. My understanding, 2 conversations with special counsel is, I think they just met maybe this week sometime, and the actual purchases the actual invoices that are being placed on the agenda for your approval tonight, I don't believe comply with the local public contracts law, because I'm not quite sure they were aware of them at that point. I'd like to turn that to Mr. Taylor.
So essentially, the recommendation for this evening is to pull that item from the agenda, not to approve it, hold it pending further review as to legality and form consistent with procurement practices and laws in New Jersey.
The vendor is Central Jersey Roofing.
Thank you.
Can you clarify? You're asking us.
Yeah, here's the issue. The district spent approximately $75,000 on that vendor already for quote-unquote emergency purchases. There's approximately another $20,000 on the bills list tonight for that vendor. There are certain procedures that special counsel outlined for emergency purchases. Most notably is they need to notify the executive county superintendent, and there's also some other procedures. So we're not asking for that vendor not to be paid ultimately. We're just asking that before the board approves this, if they knowingly if the board, and Mr. Williams, maybe you can help me, if the board knowingly is aware.
Before you, I just don't have a question. Mr. Kennedy, I thought we suspended all emergency contracts last month when the report came before us.
We did, these are, I believe they're payments on the claims list this month.
So it sounds as though it may be a payment on a quote-unquote emergency contract that was previously issued.
Or previously granted.
Correct, and given the ongoing investigation, specifically the identification of certain contracts that may have been awarded under the emergency contract exception to public bidding, but not fully compliant with the procedures for the award of an emergency contract, i.e. the declaration that an emergency exists, the roof is going to collapse, the boiler doesn't work, so there's no heat in the school. And then a subsequent report to the county superintendent within 3 days of the award of the contract. Since that initial process was not done, we're recommending that we delay and hold any payments that relate back to that initial transaction that may not have been authorized or done properly, excuse me.
Do you know what month that service happened? I don't know, I need to ask Mr. Kennedy for the central roofing.
I have the information. We have the documents, but not here this evening.
Madam President, if I may, I would just recommend that when we get to the payment of vouchers in the bills list, that we amend the bill list to delete that item and put it on hold until further action can be examined and explained.
Thank you. And just moving forward, I just ask that we cease all emergency contracts unless they're approved. Okay, so that we're not, I don't know, because I didn't know about this. So that I can know, superintendent can know, and the county superintendent also can know. Just like the example that, Mr. Taylor had mentioned. Okay, are you passing out another resolution?
That's it this evening, Madam President.
I have a question. Yes, is there any indication of who altered the reports that went back to the agenda and everything?
It wouldn't be appropriate to discuss any individual employees in a public forum, particularly not before giving them a race notice. And two, any discussion of that may be covered by the attorney-client privilege and or may be subject of anticipated litigation. So it's something that we would have to discuss with the board in closed session, number one. And number two, we couldn't discuss it this evening because any individual employees have not been raced.
Thank you very much.
Madam President?
Madam President.
Thank you. Bud, could you ask Mr. Cotto to prepare a list of schools where the materials that we bought from Bayway Lumber went, in terms of if we bought wood from Bayway Lumber in the past year, to where they went and what was bought from Bayway Lumber, and send a list to us? For instance, in the past year that we've been using them, I guess inappropriately, we make a list of what we bought from them. Mr. Cotto should have some kind of list of what we bought and what schools those materials or the services or whatever, what they were allocated to, and then give that report to the board. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
At this time, I want to have a small, short report from our co-general counsel, Mr. Bob Verity. Good evening.
I've been asked by co-general counsel to comment on litigation that happened in December of 2007, a case called Davia versus the Elizabeth Board of Education. And this stems from a termination of Mr. Davia that happened back in March of 2011. And Mr. Davia sued the board under 3 causes of action: the New Jersey Law Against Discrimination, the New Jersey Civil Rights Act, and a violation of his First Amendment constitutional rights. The lawsuit was served upon us in July of 2011. And at that time, we had certain insurance coverage which may have provided coverage to the board for this action. Inquiry was made of the insurance carrier, and there was initial declination of the coverage. The letter that went to the board was never questioned as to why the coverage why there was going to be no coverage. Mr. Lehman at the time sent the lawsuit to then the Director of Human Resources, Ms. Murray, and Ms. Murray eventually sent this lawsuit to the Schwartz-Edelstein firm. The Schwartz-Edelstein firm took it upon themselves to file an answer and go forward with the defense of the lawsuit. This December there was a litigation, there was a trial, and the case was lost. Mr. DeVia was awarded $25,000. Now, under the New Jersey Civil Rights Act, under the Federal Civil Rights Act, and under the law against discrimination, there's something called fee shifting. That if the plaintiff wins the case, the defendant, in this case the Board of Education, has to pay the fees. And in a 35-page opinion, Judge Soroka, the judge who tried the case, awarded the plaintiff's attorney approximately $180,000 in fees. So there's a judgment against the board for $25,000 for Mr. DeVia and $180,000 for the attorney, on top of which the board has been billed approximately $400,000 by the Schwartz-Edelstein firm for their representation of the board in this case. In speaking with Jonathan, so that you know my background, since 1977 I've been doing defense work, doing insurance coverage work, and one of the things you always want to do when you get a lawsuit is that you want to look to see if you have insurance coverage. And a lot of times in civil rights cases, there's going to be what's called intentional act claims. In other words, they're going to say the individual who was named. In this case, Mr. Munoz, the then superintendent, and the human resource director, Ms. Murray, were named. And on intentional acts, they're not usually covered by insurance. So the insurance company will send you a letter saying, we're not covering you for this count, and this count, but the other counts we're reserving our rights and will provide you coverage. If they don't do that, if they say we're not going to provide you with coverage, usually what you'll do as a defense attorney is challenge that. You would come to the board and say, look, they're not going to cover us. I want authority to file a lawsuit against the insurance company while we're being sued, saying that they should cover that. That wasn't done in this case. We're not quite sure because the records are sparse and we don't have the file from the Schwartz-Edelstein firm as to what was done in the analysis of the insurance coverage. And what you have to note here under your policy, you have very good coverage. Right now, we're responsible for any suit that's covered under the policy for the first $75,000 of either legal fees, expenses, and or settlement. So your greatest exposure on any case should be $75,000. After $75,000, it should go to the insurance company and we shouldn't have a worry. So theoretically in this case, where you're now liable for the judgment and the $25,000, the $180,000 in legal fees, and you've paid a law firm $400,000, your exposure may have been only $75,000. So after talking with Mr. Williams and looking at this, I have a resolution that I'm asking you to authorize me as co-general counsel for litigation to look into this to see if there's any way that we can recoup any of these monies. And I can assure you what we've done from the get-go in this, based on my experience, even before the Davila case came to my attention, is Mr. Kennedy and I now have a system. I think almost immediately after he's served with a summons and complaint, he emails it to me and I read it. And I don't think I've ever said to him yet, don't send it to the insurance carrier. I think we've sent everyone to the insurance carrier. And we've gotten some of these letters. Bud has said to me, hey Bob, look at this letter. And I've said, well good, we'll fight him. And we'll write a letter back. And so far, no one's ever declined coverage. We have the insurance carrier representing us. The other thing we're doing is in regard to your $75,000, we're monitoring it. For instance, if we see there's a case that's really a nuisance case, and that we can settle it for $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, we would come to you to ask you to settle that rather than to litigate it and spend your $75,000 just to get to the carrier. So I have copies of a resolution that I'd like you to consider authorizing me to look into the Villa matter in particular to see if there's any way we can recoup. And the possible ways to recoup would be to look at the insurance carrier and try to track them down to see if we can get them to recoup it. Talk to the law firms that were involved to see what they were done and see what in fact we can do in regard to recouping any of the fees that we lost, and we'll go from there. I'm not saying to you that that's going to be possible. The other problem I have with a lot of the bills I've been seeing, which we've rectified at your reorganization meeting, is that in the past, your special counsels, and in particular in insurance defense work, didn't have a set fee. But for instance, we're all set, everyone across the board, every attorney who speaks to you as special counsel, general counsel, at $155 an hour. We've seen legal fees range from $155 an hour, $150 an hour, up to $345 and $425 an hour. Your insurance carrier, remember, when we send it to the insurance carrier, they assign a counsel. It's not any of your special counsel. They have a board, they have a panel of counsel, and they only give them $110 an hour. So I haven't done the math, and that's why I became a lawyer, because I can't do the math. But if you take $110 an hour and put it into $400,000, that's a heck of a lot of hours that was spent on this litigation. So that's what I want to look into, and that's what I want you to authorize me to do, because the other issues we have on many of these cases, and I'm only talking to you tonight about the Villa, is the authorization from the board for these cases to even go forward, or for these people to handle it. Now, I asked Bud this afternoon, and he's already gotten to me the authorizations on various cases, and I think he has tonight, or he's going to have for me Monday, the bills that I want to look at it so I can get started on this right away for you, and hopefully report back to you either at the May meeting, which I believe is May 12th, or the June meeting. So I have a copy of the resolution.
Mr. Varity, if you can just read the title of the resolution for me, please.
The resolution read, the Villa versus Board of Education, to direct general counsel to take such action as may be appropriate and necessary to seek reimbursement for expenditures made in connection with the litigation.
Thank you. If you can just pass it to us, please.
Move the resolution regarding the Villa versus Board of Education.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution for the Villa versus the Board of Education. Any comments or questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
From my understanding, we paid the defense attorneys $180,000 approximately.
No, you're paying the plaintiff's attorney, the attorney who represented the person you sued, $180,000.
And also, there was an additional $400,000 possibility?
Paid to the law firm that represented you.
And that law firm?
Schwartz Edelstein.
Okay, so this case that was settled approximately $35,000?
No, the jury awarded, there was a jury verdict of $25,000.
$25,000, so this case basically cost us $600,000.
Correct.
That was settled for $25,000.
No, it was a jury award. It wasn't settled. There was no offer made to settle the case. The case was tried to a conclusion, and the jury awarded Mr. Davila $25,000 in damages.
And it cost the district $600,000.
Correct.
Thank you.
Mr. Varity, have we paid the attorney?
I think part of it has been paid. I know some of the firm bills from that firm have not been paid at this point in time, And those are some of the bills that Mr. Kennedy is getting to me that I asked for today. I emailed him this afternoon. I believe that most of that will be this litigation that has not been paid.
Would a new motion need to be made not to pay any of those bills?
I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not sure what's on the agenda, but I believe those bills have been pulled, the Schwartz-Edelstein bills. Yeah, they're not on the agenda to be paid.
Nothing on tonight for sure.
Yeah, so,
And they won't be put on the agenda until that's resolved?
well, that's up to you. That would be my recommendation, but
We can talk about that more.
I'm only the lawyer.
Okay, any other comments, questions? Thank you. Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Nera,
Yes.
Nina,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Battles.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Verity.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And thank you, Mr. Lester. Thank you, Mr. Dieter.
Madam President,
Yes.
I would like to recognize elected official, Councilwoman at Large, Patricia Perkins Augusti. Also, congratulations on your re-election.
At this time, we're going to go through the agenda. Tab 1A. Minutes from March 17, 2016.
Motion to approve the minutes? Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the minutes from March 17, 2016. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Nera,
Yes.
Nina,
Yes.
Rodriguez. Battles.
Yes. Thank you. Report of the Treasury Report for the month ending in February 29, 2016, tab 1B.
Move the report.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the Treasurer's Report for the month ending in February 29, 2016. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Nera,
Yes.
Nina,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Battles.
Yes. Tab 2A, Personnel Report.
Move the report.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the Personnel Report. Any comments or questions?
Yes, Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you. I just wanted to congratulate all the retirees. I know, thank them all for their service. I want to especially thank Mr. Michael Webb, who is the principal at our School 22 at 31, for his 41 years of service to the district. We congratulate him and we wish him, we all wish him a happy and healthy retirement. And thank you for pretty much leading, piloting a ship that has won. Under his leadership, was it 2 blue ribbons? At least 1, right? 2. So under his leadership, and under the faculty and staff and the teachers and the parents working all together, thank you for your service and happy and healthy retirement. Thank you.
Madam President?
Yes.
I would also like to congratulate all the retirees and a special congratulations to Mr. Webb, who was principal for both of my children, and I was PTA president for him for many, many years. It was an honor and a privilege to have him as a principal and to serve as a PTA president for him, and I wish him the best of luck and hope that he enjoys his retirement.
Thank you. Any other comments?
One more thing, Madam President. If we could just verify the address for one of the accountants that is being hired.
Okay, just saying.
I apologize.
Page 11.
Page 11, it says 820 Palisade Road.
Don't give the address.
Okay, I apologize.
It's online.
Yeah.
Only you see the addresses.
Oh, okay.
I apologize. If we could verify that.
Okay, then we need to speak, you can speak to Mr. Kennedy or Mr. Preston. Yeah, okay, Mr. Preston. Thank you. Seeing no other comments, roll call please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes, but abstain for page 11.
Thank you. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Battles.
Yes. Tab 2A, supplemental personnel report.
With the report?
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the supplemental personnel report. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Battles.
Yes. Tab 3, tuition report.
Move the rest. Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the tuition report. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Battles.
Yes. Tab 4.
Are we doing 4A?
Yeah.
Before that, I want to get a table. Could we possibly table for later this evening, on tab 4A, just number 7?
Okay, can you just wait till I bring it up, and then you can move forward to the table, please? Thank you. Tab 4A, superintendent's report. I need someone to move the report,
Move the resolution.
and I need a second.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the superintendent's report. Any comments or questions? Mr. Rodriguez? Huh? He's at 4A.
Yeah, but once it's seconded, I can't table it.
Yes, you can. He's at 4A. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, then I want to take it off. I'm sorry.
You'd have to retract your motion.
A motion to amend? Yeah, you got motion to amend.
Can I make a motion?
I can't make it. Someone on the floor is doing it.
Motion to retract the motion.
And amend it.
Madam President, could we table on tab 4A, number 7, for later this evening? I just want to speak to the superintendent. Sorry I didn't take the time earlier to speak with you about this one. Just speak with her, and then bring it back possibly later this evening. So a motion to table number 7 on tab 4A.
I just want Mr. Rodriguez to understand that if we table number 7, it'll be moved to the following meeting. Is that correct? Number 7? Number 7? Yes. Okay. All right, so motion to table number 7 on the superintendent's report. So at this time, I'm going to ask us to vote on number 1 through 10, minus number 7. So at this time, we're going to vote on the motion to table number 7.
Need a second.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to table number 7 on the superintendent's report. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Battles.
Yes.
Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to ask a motion for tab 4A minus number 7.
I'd like to make a motion to move tab 4A as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept tab 4A as amended with the changes made from Mr. Rodriguez. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes, abstain from number 8 and 10.
Thank you. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Tab 4BB, Superintendent's Report.
Madam President, I apologize. Mr. Kennedy, I need to abstain from tab 4A, number 8.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Superintendent's Report 4B, Use of Facilities.
Move the report.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the use of facilities for the superintendent's report. Any comments or questions?
One question, are we waiving all the fees or just as recommended?
Just as, I would like to make a motion, it's just recommended.
Motion to waive all fees.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to waive all fees in addition to accept the use of facilities for tab 4B. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes, and abstention to number 2.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Tab 4BB, Supplemental Superintendent's Report, the use of facilities considerations.
Move the report.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the Supplemental Superintendent's Report for the use of facilities with the considerations. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Tab 4C, Superintendent's Report for field trip considerations.
Move the report.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the field trip considerations. Any comments or questions?
Yes, Madam President?
Yes.
If possible, for the next meeting, if we can have some sort of a layout so that we know what schools or what classrooms have used their $250 for their class trips. There's money allocated for each school, and I'd like to know if there's a breakdown where, so that we know who's taking advantage of what we are offering.
Thank you. Any other comments? Seeing none, roll call please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Tab 4D, the Harassment, Intimidation, and Bullying Investigation Report. At this time, we're going to have Mr. Vasco come up, please.
Good evening, board members, Superintendent Hubmeier, fellow staff, and community members. Pursuant to our board policy on harassment, intimidation, and bullying, and our New Jersey state law, the results of all our harassment, intimidation, and bullying investigations are to be reported to the Board of Education no later than the date of the next board meeting following completion of each investigation, and they are to include the services provided, trainings established, discipline imposed, or any other actions taken or recommended. Within our past month of HIB investigations, from our last board meeting until last week, we had 58 HIB investigations and 12 were founded for harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Of those investigations, We had, for our victims, our alleged victims students, they were 28 males, 31 females, 41 students were regular education, and 18 students were students with disabilities. For our alleged offenders, there were 48 students that were male, 49 students that were female, 80 regular education students, and 16 students with disabilities, and one non-student. The actions that we're taking and the services provided for those investigations, for each of those cases, there were 24 skill development, 54 counseling sessions, 4 behavioral interventions, 19 outpatient treatment referrals, 3 change of classes or school, 8 in-school detentions, 12 out-of-school suspensions, 8 administrative counseling sessions, 33 parent conferences, 3 referrals were made to outside agencies, and 12 cases are continuing to be monitored. Of the 12 founded cases, 1 case was founded on the basis of gender, 2 cases were founded on the basis of a mental or physical or sensory disability, and 11 cases were founded by other means. At the next regularly scheduled meeting after the board members receive the report of HIV investigation, the law requires that the board issue a decision in writing to affirm, reject, or modify the superintendent's decision pertaining to the cases reported to you at the last meeting. So the cases that I reported to you at the last meeting, tonight you're now voting on those cases, tab 4D, and you should have been provided the executive summaries for each of those specific investigations. Also, I included in a packet of a comparative report from last school year, 2014-15, to this school year, 15-16, the same timeline from September, the beginning of the year, until last week, April 13th, for both years. And it gives a rundown of each school broken down, all 35 schools, how many total incidents there were for each school, and how many incidents were founded from last year into this year. And that's all I have for this evening. Does anybody have any questions?
Yes, Mr. Vaso.
Yes.
Thank you for your report. Case 24004, it mentions that it was founded and contacted parents, counseling, parent conference, detention, monitoring on bus. I'm assuming this was a bus situation or situations happening on the bus, and I want to know the follow-up that takes place. Is there ample amount of support on the bus to do the necessary monitoring if this is a bullying case happening on the buses?
It was a founded case?
Yes, it was a founded case.
Okay.
Yes.
As far as follow-up, yes, we would contact the Director of Transportation to make sure that the appropriate monitoring is happening, as well as at the school with the principal and or counselor to see if the issue is remedied, if there are any other continuing concerns, or if students could have been removed from the bus or suspended from the bus, and then.
I guess my question is, it's a bus situation?
I have specific cases I don't know if we're allowed to discuss in public, so we can talk.
Yeah, if you can follow up for us to this report. I just want to make sure that if it's a situation happening on a bus, if there was bus monitoring happening prior, and if it's going on, and if our buses are being properly manned.
What case number was that?
24004.
I will look into it.
Thank you.
Any questions?
May I have a motion to accept the HIV report, please?
Move the report for HIV.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the superintendent's report for the HIV bullying investigation. Any comments, questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez. I'm sorry, Nara.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Yes. Pat.
Yes. At this time, I'm going to have the superintendent do her inside EPS report.
Thank you, Madam Madam President, our version of Inside EPS for this month dedicated its first article to EPS Light It Up Blue for Autism Awareness Month, which we celebrated this evening and recognized all of our schools that offer our autism programs all throughout, as well as individuals that really are going above and beyond for our children. Our next article, EPS named a Best Community for Music Education by NAMP Foundation. Elizabeth Public Schools has been honored with the Best Communities for Music Education designation from the NAMP Foundation for its outstanding commitment to music education. Elizabeth joins 476 districts across the country in receiving the prestigious award in 2016. The Best Communities Music Education designation is awarded to districts that demonstrate outstanding achievement in efforts to provide music access and education to our students. Districts that have been recognized by the foundation are often held up as models for other educators looking to boost their own music education programs. To qualify for the Best Communities designation, Elizabeth Public Schools answered detailed questions about funding, graduation requirements, music class participation, instruction time, facilities, support for the music program, and community music making programs. Responses were verified with school officials and reviewed by the Music Research Institute at the University of Kansas. This award recognizes that Elizabeth Public Schools is leading the way with learning opportunities as outlined in the new federal education legislation, the Every Student Succeeds Act. ESSA recommends music and the arts as important elements of well-rounded education for all children. A 2015 study supported by the foundation, Striking a Chord, outlines the overwhelming desire by teachers and parents for music education opportunities for all children as part of the school curriculum. Receiving this designation among only 476 districts throughout America places us among the nation's best music programs, and it is indicative of the elite level at which our music educators teach and our students as musicians perform. And I think that was evident from the students that spoke this evening with regard to their experience they had as early as elementary, right through high school and performing in the New Jersey Symphony. Our next article, 3 EPS schools in the top 50 of the Washington Post high school rankings. 3 Elizabeth high schools are among the top 50 in the state of New Jersey, according to a newly released report of America's Most Challenging High Schools by the Washington Post. Elizabeth High School was named #1 most challenging high school in New Jersey for the 3rd consecutive year. Alexander Hamilton Preparatory Academy moved up to #4 ranking, its highest ranking ever, after appearing at #25 last year. Thomas Jefferson Arts Academy appeared in the top 50 of the Washington Post rankings for the first time, making its debut at #46. The Washington Post ranks high schools using the Challenge Index, a measure of how effectively a school prepares its students for college. The formula divides the number of advanced placement in AP, International Baccalaureate, or other college-level tests a school gave in 2015 by the number of graduating seniors. While not a measure of the overall quality of the school, the rating can reveal the level of high school's commitment to preparing students for post-secondary education. Elizabeth High School and Hamilton Preparatory Academy both ranked in the top 300 in the United States, earning the ranks of number 73 and number 259 respectively. Jefferson Arts Academy appeared on the national rankings for the first time, was ranked number 1,157. Hamilton Preparatory Academy moved up significantly from 2015, in which they were ranked 1,047 nationally. Their dramatic rise in the rankings come as a result of nearly doubling their Challenge Index score from 2.360 in 2015 to 4.432 in 2016. 3 EPS schools in the top 50 of Washington Post high school rankings. John E. Dwyer Technology Academy also made its debut in the America's Most Challenging High School rankings, appearing at number 111 in New Jersey and 1,915 nationally. This recognition of the 4 high schools is a reflection of the district's commitment to college preparedness. I am very pleased to see 4 of our high schools appear in the rankings that show the nation's most challenging high schools in the context of their effectiveness in preparing students to attend college. Elizabeth Public Schools believes all students can achieve at high levels and continues to uphold that belief with its commitment to preparing all students for post-secondary education. So a special congratulations to our students and staff at Elizabeth High School, Alexander Hamilton Preparatory Academy, Thomas Jefferson Arts Academy, and John E. Dwyer Technology Academy. Very proud. It is. It's exciting news. And our next article, Elizabeth High School, Hamilton, ranked among the best high schools in the nation by the U.S. News and World Report. Elizabeth High School and Alexander Hamilton Preparatory Academy were 2 of 6,218 schools from throughout the United States to earn national rankings as part of the 2016 U.S. News and World Report Best High School Rankings. Schools receiving national rankings from the U.S. News and World Report were designated with gold, silver, and bronze medals. EHS ranked number 183 nationally, received a gold medal, designated for schools ranked 1 through 500. Hamilton Preparatory Academy ranked 632 nationally, received a silver medal, designated for schools ranked 501 through 2,673. The comprehensive U.S. News ranking methodology, which reflects how well high schools serve all of their students, not just those who are planning to go to college, was implemented by RTI International, one of the world's leading research institutes. The 2016 rankings include an analysis of detailed statistical information from the 2013-14 school year for the 19,908 schools in all 50 states and the District of Columbia that had high enough 12th grade enrollment and or sufficient enrollment in other grades to be considered eligible. It's a significant change in the methodology. U.S. News shifted to a 4-step process by accounting for graduation rates. First, high schools had to pass the first 2 steps of having performed better than statistically expected in their respective state and have their schools, disadvantaged students, outperform disadvantaged students in their respective states. Schools then had to pass the 3rd step of meeting or exceeding a national standard high school graduation rate to be considered top-performing schools and to be ranked at the national level before being judged on the final step of college readiness performance using advanced placement or international baccalaureate test data as the benchmark for success. So a special congratulations to our 2 high schools for that designation. And we next move to our next article, Elizabeth High School Baseball to participate in Autism Awareness Games. The Elizabeth High School baseball team will be participating in the Autism Awareness Baseball Challenge at North Brunswick's Community Park on April 22nd through the 24th. This year's challenge will feature 40 high schools from throughout New Jersey, including some of the state's top-ranked as well as players projected to be selected in the 2016 MLB draft and play for Division I baseball programs. Representatives from the participating teams attended a reception where they watched a special presentation highlighting the mission of the event and video messages pre-recorded by prominent alumni of the Autism Awareness Baseball Challenge. Players participating in the challenge also exchange colored puzzle pieces, a universally recognized symbol for autism awareness, that they asked family, friends, and community members to sign in exchange for a donation to the Teamwork Unlimited Foundation. The entire event serves as a fundraiser to the Teamwork Unlimited Foundation, a nonprofit organization founded by the Colorado Rockies Scout and the Highland Park native Mike Gallardi to help those in need and raise awareness about autism. The Elizabeth Minutemen will take the field against Old Bridge at 7 p.m. on April 23rd. As is the case in all of the games played during the Autism Awareness Baseball Challenge, a ceremonial first pitch will be thrown by a special needs child or someone who works with special needs children to start the game. And our last article, our EPS students' artistic talents shine at Union County Teen
Arts Festival. On March 23rd and 24th, students from throughout the Elizabeth Public Schools attended the Union County Teen Arts Festival at Union County College in Cranford to showcase their artistic abilities in both music and the visual arts. Elizabeth Public School students were joined by nearly 3,500 other students throughout Union County at the annual art exhibition. Students participated in performances, critiquing seminars, master classes, and workshops with a staff of 55 professional artists in every discipline: visual art, music, creative writing, theater, and dance. Many of the school districts in attendance complimented Elizabeth Public School students for their exemplary work of art. Supervisor of Art Tracy Montero was delighted to see the students of our districts at the forefront of the festival, was proud of our teachers and students for showing their sound understanding of color and composition. And she anticipates that the Elizabeth Public Schools will have many winners participating in this year's Traveling Teen Exhibition in Trenton. And this concludes our report. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just want to make a comment. I'm looking at the artwork for the Union County Teen Arts Festival Gallery, and it is amazing. I know you guys probably can't see it from where it is, and I hope that we're going to be posting these images, but our students are doing some remarkable things. Like, I'm really fascinated. And I think I had saw a few when I did my tour, so I just want to say again, congratulations to our finalists from our district. Oh, thank you. You guys are awesome. Excellent. Was that there the whole time? Okay. Excellent. Beautiful. Those are some awesome, awesome, awesome portraits and drawings. Thank you very much. Excellent. All right, moving along. Tab 5, authorizations report. Sorry, it's been moved and probably second to accept the authorizations report. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Tab 5A, supplemental authorizations report.
Move the report.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the supplemental authorizations report. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Abstain.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
Need to abstain from, go back and 5A, and abstain on the bottom authorization.
Mr. Nera, and then which one?
The one that says authorization to provide. The bottom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a mistake. We would think we were on 6, so my apologies. So I accept 5A with the exception of the bottom portion where
Authorization.
authorizations for Edison Academy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kennedy?
Yes.
I was also thought that we were in tab 6. I would like to change my vote to a yes.
Thank you. Tab 6, Finance and Accounting Report. Before making any motions, I ask Mr. Jonathan Williams to make a comment, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Before we move into payment of bills and vouchers, I'd like to recommend a resolution for the board's consideration, which will then enable you to move into the next area of discussion. I'll read the title of the resolution. It's an expansion of scope of services and related contract modification for Lurch, Vinci, and Higgins professional services contract auditing services. This resolution will increase the cap, which was previously awarded to Lurch, Vinci, and Higgins, in order to allow them to continue to perform the forensic audit, but more importantly, will expand or change the scope of services for that firm to also assist the board and the administration in the budget process and in the labor negotiation process.
Need a motion to approve?
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the expansion of scope of services and related to the contract modification for Lurch, Vinci, and Higgins LLP on professional service contract for auditing services.
Can I make a comment?
Just want everyone to know, it was distributed, it's in this motion 10Q that we're voting on right now. But in order, we just have to vote for it prior to accepting the tab 6. So is the ruling probably second? Any comments or questions?
Yes, Madam President?
Yes.
Thank you. These are the same, so the public knows, this is the same firm that is doing our forensic audit. We're coming in and getting some extra help with this firm that we believe has done an excellent job. What we've done is because the legal bills were so astronomical in years past, not just last year, but in other years, it impacted our educational programs and it impacted many things. Our legal bills were in the multiple millions of dollars. There's been plenty of reports. So what we've instituted this year is caps on certain professional contracts. What that enables us as a board to do is when they hit that cap, that entity has to come back to the board and ask for more money. At that time, we can then review what they've spent, how they spent it, why do they want it, and we can ask them questions. So we place these caps in. It seems sometimes like a lot or a little either way, but we put these caps in as kind of speed bumps or even just places where these professional entities have to come and ask us again for more money, and that provides us an opportunity to question them in terms of why and how much and so on and so forth. So instead of waiting just month to month to month to month, they actually have to come back to the full board and ask. So I just want to say thank you, Madam President, for your leadership on this and to continue to try to curb costs and to keep costs down, and also if we're going to spend money outside of the educational realm to get some of these professional services to be accountable to why and what they're spending on. Thank you.
Any other comment? Roll call, please.
Carvalho,
Yes.
Gonzalez,
Yes.
Nera,
Yes.
Dina,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Battles.
Yes. Tab 6.
Move tab 6.
Tab 6A supplemental finance report.
Sorry. Move tab 6, the authorization to pay vouchers.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the supplemental finance report. Any comments or questions?
Yes, Madam President.
Yes, Mr. Rodriguez.
One of my favorite reports. I did the analysis again last year at this time for the April meeting. We spent over $434,000 on just legal services, and I want to report to the public that we have halved that cost this month, so we continue to keep legal services down month to month. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kennedy, what tab am I on?
Tab 6.
Oh, I apologize. I did tab 6A. So the finance and accounting report for tab 6, authorization to pay the vouchers. I need a motion and I need a second.
Move the report.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the finance and accounting report. Any comments or questions?
I have a question. I thought hand checks were, we passed a resolution to freeze all hand checks. Mr. Kennedy.
I, I don't recall a resolution freezing hand checks per se.
Okay.
Emergency purchases.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a reason why we are issuing hand checks? Is it because of the way the cycle runs? Can you explain that, Mr. Kennedy?
Yeah, well, most of them are for the preschool, our preschool providers, and we have to pay them at the beginning of the month in accordance with the rules of the Early Childhood Department. And then the other ones are usually for events that schools are doing where they need to take a check with them on the trip before the board meeting. So those are usually the two. The biggest ones are the preschool providers.
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
I have to go first. Okay, I make a motion off the floor. Okay, so for the records, please, I take okay, never mind. Okay, I make a motion off the floor. Moving forward, I would like for, in addition to Mr. Kennedy, the business administrator, to sign and authorize the checks, I would like the superintendent, Oberhuber, as well as our co-general counsel, Jonathan Williams, to also authorize the checks as well, so that we know all the hand checks that are going through for the month. So that is three sets of eyes on there, not just one.
Motion to move that resolution? Second.
Can we finish 6 and then go to that?
Oh, yes. We voted. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a comment that I had.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Okay, what are we voting on? 6?
6.
Yes on 6?
Gonzalez.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Nero.
You have to, I'm sorry, Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
My motion is on the floor.
Okay.
So I need to vote on that first. And then Jose seconded. So now I need to vote on that. And then we'll go back to 6.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nero.
Yes.
Nina.
Okay, I have a question. Are we voting on tab 6?
No, we're voting on
Okay, I vote yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Baffles.
Yes. So just to be clear, moving forward, starting tomorrow, any checks that are going out that are handwritten, authorization needs to be given to superintendent and both co-general counsel. Tab 6, finance and accounting report. I know there was a motion put down, and I know that it was seconded. So any other comments on this? Do you need to know who's second and who put the motion?
I have Ms. Gonzalez moving it and Mr. Rodriguez second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nero.
Yes.
Nina.
Abstain.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Baffles.
Yes. Tab 6A, supplementary finance report to transfer the funds.
Move the report.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the supplementary finance report to transfer the funds. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nero.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Baffles.
Yes. Tab 7, awards and contract report.
Award the contracts.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to award the contracts. Any comments or questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Bear with me, guys. I would like that for next year, that we put a little more effort into looking to stay local with our dinner for our top 100 students. That would be the contract with the castle that we have for this year.
What page are you looking at?
Page 3.
Thank you.
I I believe Mr. Mazza had an issue with the Winfield Scott Ballroom. If not, I know in the past it was there. But yeah, I agree with you.
Any other comments?
No, that's it.
Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Abstain on the contractor groundwork, Elizabeth, and yes on everything else.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Neron.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. At this time, we're going to do our committee reports. Tab 8. The minutes from the School Properties Committee of the Board report from April 6, 2016. Chairperson Maria Cavallo.
On April 6, 2016, the
Excuse me, I'm sorry, April 6.
School Property Committee met. The School Properties Committee met on April 6th. A review of the capital budget requests for the current school year with the amounts budgeted and the funds extended for each of the projects was made available. A review of all current projects was presented and the status of each item was discussed.
Thank you. The minutes from the Education Management Committee of the Board that was held on April 7, 2016. Chairperson Stan Neron.
Thank you, Madam President. The Education Management Committee met on April 7th. The superintendent presented a proposal to the committee that aligns to college and career readiness. An opportunity to partner with Union County College to provide math preparation sessions to assist students with the Math AccuPlacer test. This partnership would assist prospective Union County College students the opportunity to participate in a math boot camp program, thereby eliminating the need to take remedial mathematics courses upon college entrance. Further conversations will involve the opportunity for seniors to take college credit-bearing courses while still in high school. The committee engaged in a discussion with our general counsel regarding contracted services and the need for an analysis to be conducted regarding the cost of the current school year as it relates to source for teachers.
Thank you. The minutes for the Negotiation Committee of the Board on April 7, 2016. Chairperson Stephanie Concalves.
Thank you, Madam President. Attorney George Spino provided an overview of the current contract and further explained the negotiations process. The necessary next steps were explained to members of the committee.
Thank you. Minutes from the Finance Committee of the Board that was held on April 20th, 2016. Chairperson Stan Neron.
The Finance Committee met on April 20th. Mr. Lurch, an independent auditor, was invited to the meeting to provide a review of the 2016-2017 budget. The review afforded the members of the committee information regarding the general funds and funding sources as well as the historical local tax levy. A discussion took place that entailed the budgetary comparisons to the current school year in relation to expenditures, support services, employee benefits, and special revenue funding sources.
Thank you. And our last report, the minutes from the Special Education Committee of the Board that was held on April 20, 2016. Our chairperson, Jose Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam President. The Special Education Committee met on April 20th. The committee discussed the current Special Education Parent Advisory Council, also known as CPAC, policy together with the Director of Special Services. CPAC is a requirement by the New Jersey Department of Education. Each district board of education is charged with the New Jersey Special Education, I guess that would be code, to ensure that a special education parent advisory group is in place to provide input to the district on issues concerning students with disabilities. Reference the code subchapter 6A:14-1.2 paragraph H. The Elizabeth CPAC is a standing committee for 1 year in an advisory capacity. The group is charged with 1, assisting and facilitating parent involvement in education resources. 2, provide feedback on issues pertaining to special education services in the district. 3, developing informational meetings on topics of interest for families with students who receive special education. The group is charged with keeping a focus on input into district special education concerns by providing workshops and presentations in order to assist parents in becoming effective advocates for their children, and to learn how to navigate throughout their child's educational career. The committee reviewed proposed changes to the policy to enhance participation, and also recommendations were made for additional training for the Parent Advisory Committee. The proposed changes will be presented at the May board meeting for review and approval. The superintendent presented the comprehensive equity plan needs assessment for the committee's review. The purpose of the plan is managing for equality and equity in education, which outlines responsibilities for achieving and maintaining compliance with state and federal laws governing equity in educational programs. As a result, all school districts, including charter schools and Renaissance school projects, are mandated to develop a 3-year comprehensive equity plan, also known as a CEP. The responsibility of each Board of Education of every public school district in New Jersey is to identify and correct all discriminatory and inequitable policies, programs, practices, and conditions within or affecting schools. 2 areas for corrective action plan were discussed that included the following. Number 1, ensure that students are not separated or isolated by race, creed, color, national origin, ancestry, age, marital status, affectional or sexual orientation, gender, religion, disability, immigration status, housing status, or socioeconomic status, resulting in a disproportionate placement within schools, courses, classes, programs, or extracurricular activities. Recruitment efforts will be addressed at school number 7, 22, and EHS, also known as upper and lower, to increase participation rates. Number 2, ensure that minority and male students are not disproportionately represented in detentions, suspensions, expulsions, dropouts, or special need classifications. Strategies have been identified to address the suspension rates amongst all ethnicities. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Tab 9, the summaries claims list. Right before anyone makes a motion, I understand that Commissioner Dan would like to...
Yes, I would like to amend to move and to delete the following vendors for this report. Bayway Lumber, Royal Printing, and Central Jersey Roofing.
Second that.
Mr. Dina, is that to table or delete or no? Just
delete from this report until
next meeting or further.
Correct.
Thank you. Move as amended. I'm sorry.
I made that motion.
We need to vote on the motion that Mr. Nina made.
Yeah, second that.
Thank you. It's been moved and probably second to table, to delete Bayway Lumber, Royal Printing, and Central Jersey Roofing. Any comments or questions?
Excuse me.
Yes.
No, sorry, I was really...
Yes. I'd like to request that when this does come back, because I'm assuming that we're talking about tabling this, when it does come back, that we know where the money was spent. For example, there were 33 items that was paid for, and it says Maffey Lock and Safety Coat for $106.10, 33 times. Did we change 33 locks this month? Also, Wilgus and Sons, it just says supplies and plants. I understand that that's for that department, but I'd like to know what we spent $81 on for about 30 items. So if the report could be a little more detailed. Unfortunately, or fortunately for me, this year was the first year in 2.5 years that I was able to be a part of the budget process, and everything is very specifically itemized in the budget, but unfortunately it's not when we get it on a monthly basis, so I'd like a little more detail.
And that's for Mr. Porter. Okay, so there's a motion on the table to amend with the Royal Printing, Bailey Lumbers, and the Central Roofing. So it can go up and down. So, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Now I need a motion to approve the rest as amended.
Move the motion.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the summaries claim list as amended. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez. Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Bathos.
Yes. Tab 10, Better Speech and Hearing Month. I ask Ms. Stephanie Gonzalez to read that, please.
Thank you, Madam President. Better Speech and Hearing Month. Whereas the members of the Elizabeth Board of Education are well aware of how important good hearing and proper speech are to the students' academic success. And whereas in the Elizabeth Public Schools, great care is taken to ensure that all students are screened on a regular basis for hearing and speech problems. And whereas students identified as in need of speech therapy are serviced by the district's professional speech and language specialist on a one-to-one or a small group basis according to their specific needs. And whereas the children found to have hearing difficulties work with the district's educational audiologists who assist in identifying the youngsters' specific problems and in helping families locate follow-up care and treatment for their children. Now and therefore be it resolved that the members of the Elizabeth Board of Education declare the month of May as Better Speech and Hearing Month to focus on the importance of good speech and hearing and the development of the youngsters' ability to communicate and to learn. I move the resolution.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution for the Better Speech and Hearing Month. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Bathos.
Yes. At this time, I'm going to have Vice President Maria Cavallo read 10A, Bilingual and Multicultural Education Month.
Whereas the Elizabeth Public Schools have provided bilingual multicultural education programs for the last 40 years, and whereas bilingual services are provided for native speakers of Haitian Creole, Portuguese, Spanish, and Arabic. English as a second language instruction is provided for over 4,800 students from 37 language classifications and from various countries from all over the world. Whereas a competent and concerned personnel dedicates themselves to meeting the effective academic and language needs of all students participating in our bilingual English as a second language program. Whereas the Elizabeth Board of Education supports the district's bilingual English as a second language education program and activities, as well as the outstanding efforts that are being made in all schools to provide our students with excellent educational experiences and services in support of our promise to ensure every child is achieving excellence. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the members of the Elizabeth Board of Education hereby proclaim the month of May 2016 as Bilingual Multicultural Education Weeks. Bilingual multicultural education, a smile is the same in every language. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to all principals and librarians to encourage and foster activities in recognizing the contributions of the large, I apologize, I couldn't read it. Multilingual and multicultural populations attended by the Elizabeth Public Schools. I move this motion.
Second. It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution on Bilingual and Multicultural Education Month. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Naran.
Yes.
Nina. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Next resolution, Kindness Awareness Month. I'm going to read that. Whereas creating a climate conducive to learning is a major focus in all of the Elizabeth schools, and whereas student achievement improves and instruction is enhanced in an atmosphere in which individual differences are celebrated and students are encouraged to think positively, to lend a hand cheerfully, to treat others as they themselves would like to be treated, and to practice the components of kindness, including honesty, forgiveness, thankfulness, patience, compassion, and unselfish service to others. Whereas when students make kindness a way of life and not just an occasional occurrence, the end result is a happier, healthier, and more productive and peaceful atmosphere both in the school and at home. Now therefore be resolved that the Elizabeth Board of Education hereby proclaims the month of May 2016 as Kindness Awareness Month, to promote peaceful and friendly social interaction among students while they both inside and outside of the classroom. Be it further resolved that this resolution be forwarded to all principals to encourage the development of appropriate programs and activities in recognition of this special month. As you guys know, for the last several months, I've been talking about the fact that we need to make sure that we're, talking about love and making sure that we're talking about making sure that we're remaining positive and teaching our children around the district to do so. So this encompasses all of it, making sure that we're staying positive, that we're forgiving others, we're being thankful, and really just a sense of, selflessness. Sometimes it's okay to remove yourself and to give to others and to be kind to others when they're not so kind to you. At the end of the day, we always want people to treat us the way that we would like to be treated. So I just ask that we kind of implore that and just make sure that we continue to think about that, even when we get angry at people for the certain things that they're doing. But just kind of remember that, it's always best to be kind to others rather than to be mean. So I move this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution on the Kindness Awareness Month. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho. Gonzalez. Naran.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Bathos.
Yes. Tab 10C, resolution for National School Nurses Day. I'm going to have Commissioner Dan Nina read that, please.
National School Nurse Day. Whereas the school nurse is universally recognized as an invaluable member of the educational team and individual with the primary responsibilities for safeguarding the health and welfare of our students. And whereas day after, Elizabeth Public Schools registered nurses demonstrate outstanding skills consistent with the high standards of their profession. Excuse me. And whereas in the delivery of services to students and in working with parents, guardians, and the community, Elizabeth Schools nurses often extend themselves far beyond the call of duty to provide professional care in a warm, supportive, humanistic manner. Now therefore be it resolved that the Elizabeth Board of Education hereby joins the nationwide observation of National School Nurses Day on May 11, 2006, and extends its appreciation and gratitude to the dedicated group of health and care professionals for all that they do every day for the children in Elizabeth Public Schools and their family. But it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to all schools principals and media specialists to encourage the observations of National School Nurses Day in our district. Move this motion.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution on the National School Nursing Day. Any comments or questions?
Yes, Madam President? Yes. I just want to let the public, and I guess everybody really know that some of our nurses deal with some students that these are the only health professionals that they will see because of either their economic or just immigration status. So I just want to commend the nurses for what they do, and especially in our district for the amount of work that they have to put in, and almost being primary care doctors almost to a lot of our students. So thank you to all the nurses. Thank you, Madam President.
You're welcome. Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Naran.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. At this time, tab 10D, Haitian Heritage Month, I'm going to ask Commissioner Stanley to read this, please.
Board of Education Resolution Haitian Heritage Month, whereas known for an ethnically diverse population, Elizabeth, New Jersey is continuing this tradition with a rapidly increasing Haitian population. And whereas we recognize the valuable contributions of the Haitian people in the fight for the independence of the United States of America and pay tribute to their endowment. Whereas the Haitian population in New Jersey joins together during the month of May to commemorate their Flag Day and celebrate their historical and cultural identity. And whereas it is appropriate to promote awareness and understanding of cultural diversity in our society in order to strengthen the self-esteem of our multicultural student population and improve their academic achievements. Now therefore be it resolved that members of the Elizabeth Board of Education hereby proclaim the month of May as Haitian Heritage Month and showcase the unique diversity of the Haitian culture and contributions. Be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be forwarded to all school principals and librarians to encourage the observance of Haitian Heritage Month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. I so move the resolution.
Second. Is it moved and properly second to accept the Haitian Heritage Month resolution? Any comments or questions?
You're a very proud Haitian young lady.
I am. I was about to say that. But I am. I just want to say again, it is an honor to, be the first Haitian American elected official here on the Board of Education, but also to serve as the president. Again, my community has stood behind me, has supported me, along with my fellow board members here, and, my fellow Haitian man, Stan Neron, also has always been behind me. And I just want to say that, I really appreciate all that my community does for me. Again, our community, struggles at times here and there, but, and our country has been struggling, and I'm looking forward to really going back to my country in August, God willing, for me to help all of those who are there or are not able to come to the United States. Anything else? No? Okay. Roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Bathos.
Yes. Tab 10E, Essex Regional Educational Services Commission Home Instruction Service for 2016-2017 school year. I just need a motion.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution on the Essex Regional Educational Services Commission. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Resolution 10F, National Teacher Appreciation Week. In honor of this, I'm going to have our teacher, Jose Rodriguez, read this resolution, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I think we're all teachers in our own way. You're also a professor, so. So thank you, Madam President. National Teacher Appreciation Week, whereas throughout Elizabeth, teachers open students' minds, the magic of ideas, knowledge, and dreams, and whereas teachers keep our nation alive by laying the foundation for good citizenship, and their hard work and efforts are directly responsible for creating the leaders of tomorrow. And whereas teachers fill many roles as listeners, explorers, role models, motivators, and mentors, and whereas teachers continue to influence us long after our school days are only memories, and whereas teachers spend countless hours outside their classrooms preparing lessons, evaluating progress, counseling, and coaching students in after-school activities, and whereas our ability to increase student achievement and to close the achievement gap in our schools can only be enhanced through teachers' commitment to provide excellent experiences and services. Whereas Elizabeth Public Schools recognizes the need to honor those that are part of the noble profession of teachers, and whereas the National Education Association has declared May 2nd through May 6th as National Teacher Appreciation Week, and whereas the goal of National Teacher Appreciation Week is to raise awareness of the importance of teaching, a profession which touches millions of American children. Now therefore be it resolved that Elizabeth Public Schools supports the initiative to recognize teachers and encourage all schools citizens, and community leaders to appropriately recognize that teachers are vital in our effort to achieve excellence for the students of Elizabeth. I so move this resolution.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and properly second to check. It's been moved and properly second to accept the National Teacher Association Week. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Okay, Resolution 10G, Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. I'll just read that. Whereas on May 7th, 1843, the first Japanese immigrants came to the United States, and whereas on May 10th, 1869, Golden Spike Day, the first transcontinental railroad in the United States was completed with significant contributions from Chinese pioneers. And whereas in 1979, at Congress' direction, the President proclaimed the week beginning on May 4th, 1979 as an Asian Pacific American Heritage Week, providing an opportunity for the people of the United States to recognize the history, concerns, contributions, and achievements of the Asian and Pacific Americans. And whereas in 1990, 1991, and 1992, Congress designated and the President proclaimed on the month of May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month. Whereas nearly 8 million people in the United States can trace their roots to Asia and the island of the Pacific. And whereas Asian and Pacific Americans have contributed significantly to the developments of the arts, sciences, government, military, commerce, and education in the United States. Now therefore be resolved that the members of the Elizabeth Board of Education hereby proclaim the month of May as Asian Pacific American Heritage Month and showcase the unique diversity of the Asian Pacific American culture and contributions. I move the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to accept the resolution. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Tab 10H, Cuban American Day. I'm going to have our superintendent read that tab, please.
Whereas throughout our nation's history, men and women of Cuban descent have made tremendous contributions to the growth, development, and prosperity of this country. And whereas, with dedication and determination, the Cuban Americans who have made Elizabeth their home have contributed to all aspects of city life and have helped to make Elizabeth a wonderful place to live, work, and raise a family. And whereas Elizabeth's Cuban Americans, strong in number and in spirit, take great pride in their heritage and work hard to make sure that their history, traditions, language, and accomplishments will be long remembered and cherished by their children and grandchildren. Now therefore be it resolved that the members of this Board of Education hereby join with Cuban Americans throughout the city and country in celebrating Cuban Independence Day on May 20th. Be it further resolved that copies of this resolution be forwarded to all district principals and librarians to encourage programs and activities in recognition of the hard work, initiative, and dedication of Elizabeth's highly respected and greatly treasured Cuban American community.
Thank you. Oh, excuse me. I need a board member to move the resolution.
I move the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to accept the resolution on the Cuban American Day. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Tab 10I, Special Education Week. I'm going to have Commissioner Jose Rodriguez read that, please.
Thank you. Excuse me. Special Education Week. Whereas the Elizabeth Board of Education is dedicated to providing all students with an equal opportunity to learn and to succeed, and whereas among the students enrolled in the Elizabeth Public Schools are youngsters with special needs which must be addressed through specialized curricula, teaching methodologies, instructional materials, and facilities. And whereas these special needs students have the right to an education designed to meet their individual needs and to prepare them to become self-confident and productive citizens. And whereas a staff of dedicated professionals and highly qualified support personnel provide this district's special needs students with a wide range of services. And whereas throughout the Elizabeth School District, special needs students are making noteworthy progress in every facet of the school program, now therefore be it resolved that the members of the Elizabeth Board of Education hereby extend to all staff involved in special education programs in this school district our sincere thanks for a job well done, and hereby proclaim the week of May 8th and May 14th as Special Education Week. Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to all principals and librarians to encourage activities and lessons in recognition of Special Education Week. I so move this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to accept the Special Education Week resolution. Any other comments or questions?
Yes, Madam President?
Yes.
I just want to congratulate again the educators, the staff members, and everyone involved with our special education students. We honored a lot of them tonight. I just feel it's a good time to just say thank you. I know it's two simple words, but what they go through day in and day out at times wears them down, and sometimes they don't feel appreciated in those many tough days. So I just want to say thank you, and again, Madam President, thank you for appreciating them tonight in public. Thank you.
Any other comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Tab 10J, resolution, the Holocaust. I'm going to actually have Ms. Stephanie Gonzalez read this resolution, please.
Thank you. Whereas the Holocaust was the state-sponsored systematic persecution and humiliation of European Jewry by Nazi Germany and its collaborators between 1933 and 1945. Whereas 6 million were murdered, Gypsies, people with disabilities, and Poles were also targeted for destruction or decimation for racial, ethnic, or national reasons, and millions more, including homosexuals, Jehovah's Witnesses, Soviet prisoners of war, and political descendants also suffered grievous oppression and death under Nazi tyranny. Now therefore be it resolved that the day of May 5th, 2016 be recognized by the Elizabeth Board of Education and the Elizabeth Public Schools community as a day of remembrance in memory of the victims of the Holocaust and in honor of the survivors as well as the rescuers and liberators. And be it further resolved that the Elizabeth Board of Education and Elizabeth Public Schools community work to promote human dignity and confront hate whenever and wherever it occurs. I move the resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second to accept the resolution on the Holocaust. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Bathos.
Yes. Tab 10K, lease renewals.
Madam President, those that was deleted from the agenda, I guess it didn't get taken out of your book.
Okay, so tab 10K has been deleted. Tab 10L, tab 10L, welcome home New York Jets head coach Todd Bowles field naming ceremony. I'm going to have Commissioner stand there. Want to read that, please?
Yes, gladly. It's a very special resolution as we welcome home again Coach Todd Bowles of the New Jersey Jets. Welcome home New York Jets head coach Todd Bowles field naming ceremony. Whereas the Elizabeth Board of Education recognizes the importance of celebrating excellence in athletics, academics, and the arts. And whereas the Elizabeth Board of Education believes that celebrating the excellence exhibits in our schools helps to rise expectations in the performance for all our students, team members, and members of the Elizabeth community. And whereas Elizabeth welcomes home New York Jets head coach Todd Bowles with a field naming ceremony as he presents the Super Bowl 50 football to the Elizabeth Board of Education. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Elizabeth Board of Education honor Coach Todd Bowles, coming full circle again as he returns to the community where his football dreams first took place, recommends and authorized participation in the field naming ceremony on April 23rd, 2016. Be it further resolved that the school business administrator, board secretary be authorized to establish budgetary accounts to provide for the associate costs and student supervision, security support services, and incidental charges of the celebration participation in the amount not to exceed $4,500, and that payments be authorized in accordance with said budget. Therefore, be it moved. I so move this resolution.
Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution on the Todd Bowles field naming ceremony. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Baffles.
Yes. Tab 10M, the payments for unused sick days. Prior to making any motions, I'm going to ask Commissioner Stanley to make a comment, please.
Yeah, I just want to amend this resolution subject to attorney review for compliance with statute and regulation. So I want to move that we approve it with stipulation subject to attorney review for compliance with state statute and regulation.
Second?
It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution as amended. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Carvalho.
Yes, as amended?
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Baffles.
Yes. Tab 10A, payments for unused vacation days.
Move the resolution? Second.
It's been moved and probably second to accept the resolution 10A to pay the unused vacation days. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
One question from here, did you want to do this one the same, subject to attorney review?
No.
No? I'm sorry, I didn't get to move a second.
Maria and Stephanie.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Baffles.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Tony.
10P is next.
We're going to hold 10P for a private session. Mr. Kennedy. At this time, the President requests a motion to go into private session to consider matters exempt under the Open Public Meetings Act, specifically for the discussion of personnel, specifically FN 10 years, specifically JP and MO, interview, litigation settlement, and contract negotiations, early childhood provider contracts, and workers' compensation matter, specifically JZ, LO, MC, SL, EC, and LS. The board will be convened in public to take formal action. Thank you. No.
Carvalho.
Yes.
Gonzalez.
Yes.
Nera.
Yes.
Nina.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Baffles.
Yes. Thank you. I just asked the board board members, it's 11:20 right now. We can just meet in the private session at 11:30 so that we can move the meeting along. I would really appreciate it.